Welcome into the Detroit City Fieldhouse for tonight's PASL encounter between your Detroit City FC and the visiting Cincinnati Sirens FC. As always, I'm Jared Mackey alongside David Dwahey. Dave, we kind of saw it last week, sort of the first real test of this league, this division with Louisville coming in with their knowledge of arena soccer as a whole. What are we going to see from Cincinnati tonight? More of the same.
More of the same, maybe even a higher level still. I think this is, as you told me before the broadcast, a team that's won national championship in this league. They've got a star-studded roster. They know the arena game very well, and they've got the players to execute. So I think DCFC's in for a great challenge. I'm excited to see how they'll respond.
And we talked, last week to Danny Evans after the match, and she mentioned it was really cool to see the difference between, an arena soccer team that's been playing it, that's been seasoned at that specific faction world of the game, compared to the squad that we have, which is mostly outdoor players. It was good to kind of see that contrast. I think a lot was learned both from her and the players on Detroit City FC, and we'll see more of the same this evening as Cincinnati almost right from the rip here going down the Detroit City FC end. That was going to be cleared out and pushed away by Megan Miles. Be a free kick to Detroit City FC. And we said it on the broadcast time and time again last week, but, a 4-3 loss, despite it being a loss, that's a more entertaining game for fans, for neutrals, and for us up here on the broadcast than the 11-2 win was 2 weeks prior.
Most definitely. And I think when you look at, growth for this team, for this budding indoor franchise, I think a 4-3 loss in a game that, in many ways DCFC were unflattered by that result. They were in many ways the team that were taking the game to Louisville. They created the lion's share of the chances and were unfortunate not to get a few more goals to their name. So I'm excited to see how they respond to that adversity and to a rough result.
Cincinnati, no strangers to having the ball in Detroit City FC's fourth of the pitch early on here. Really dictating play. One of the bigger teams we've seen so far come into this field house this year. 4 times national champions, the Cincinnati Sirens. So you say all that, but then the game's got to be played on the pitch, and we're seeing it here. That's right. Minute and a half in, sort of trying to assert themselves. Detroit City FC, it's early doors still, but not really enjoyed the possession that we've seen in the first minute and a half in the other games so far this season.
Yeah, you see Cincinnati's quality right away, the way they're holding the ball, the way they're moving it. I was talking to Danny Evans this week. She said she watched a lot of film on them, and what really struck her about their strength is just their movement, whether it's the way they pass the ball, the way they move when they don't have it. They're a flowing collection of players, and that's over time that's really hard to keep up with.
On the break now, Mia Romeo doing her best to track over and get over to the boards to put some pressure on the defensive side of the game, but Cincinnati breaking through the middle here once again. It's going to be Shannon McCarthy, Marshall out wide to try to protect Gabby Shriver in goal back there. It's going to be put all the way back out to the line, I guess, of Detroit City FC's quarter. Shannon McCarthy showing her quality on the ball right there, muscling her way into a possession there, but it's right back to the visitors. Hannah Crum's going to make her way over to try to defend. A shot's going to come in. It's going to take a kind of a wicked deflection right there, but nonetheless out, but still not out of the woods yet are Detroit City FC. As Cincinnati looks really content with playing the ball across their back line, making Detroit City FC press them because they know it'll open up space further down the pitch. Yeah,
you can tell already. They're just a seasoned group of players, and they're accustomed to having the ball, and so far they've had a lot of it.
Mia Romeo doing really well there to get to ground the first time, and the second time to win the foul. Thought I heard a whistle there, luckily didn't, and Detroit City FC has a chance to kind of get some possession, grow into this game just a little bit. Shannon McCarthy looking up, but Mia Romeo now on this near side has some space, going to play it forward to Joan Seja. A little bit of a push in the back there. I think she wanted the call there. I saw that kind of as a 50-50. That one's going to go through the legs. Conversation's going to be had here. Thought she maybe could have got onto that one. Mia Romeo's going to hold on to possession here.
Good touch from Shannon McCarthy.
All the way back to Shriver. Shriver's going to boot it forward. Crum was making a run right into the hands there of the visiting goalkeeper. That's going to be Trina Johnston. And that if she can replicate Francis's match from last week for Louisville, it'll be a good showing for Detroit City FC to get that many shots on target.
That's right. Yeah, they kept the Louisville keeper very busy last week.
And she always answered the call.
She did.
We said it time and time again. I think she was the woman of the match in that occasion because, making saves when it was tied, when they were down to kind of make things, keep them in the game, and they went on to win it, of course, in that third and fourth quarter. So hoping for more of the same will be Cincinnati out of Johnston this evening. Played forward, and I think Detroit City FC's kind of grown into the game a little bit here after those first couple of minutes. Shriver's going to come off her line. It's going to go against the wall, and Shannon McCarthy's going to boot that one forward for the first time this evening. I believe that's Fatima Nasser on the ball down there. That one's going to go off of the boards that happened just before the bench. Fatima Nasser's going to run into some space here. Fatima Nasser has Kayla Addison up with her. Elects to go alone, pays it over to Addison. Kayla Addison in front of the goal. poked away at the last second. That one's going to come in from Tatiana Mason, but Nasser gets over to it again. It's going to go off of the boards and try to get the angle working there. It's going to be Kayla Addison who tried to find it there in space, and shoving the back is going to go the way of foul against Detroit City FC.
That sequence will give City some belief. I think, they've largely defended in stretches in this game, but there they won it in a good area. They attacked a really dangerous 2-on-1 that Fatima Nasser led and made a smart pass to Addie. I think you take a lot of confidence from something like that. They should have really, they almost had a very good scoring chance.
In the first two games, we kind of saw there were huge score lines in the way of Detroit City FC, but we saw the fight the entire game, and that just sharpens the blade for matches like this where it's going to be tighter, but you have the fight and the spirit within the squad to overcome that.
Yep.
Kayla Addison's going to find a way into some space here. Dribbles, takes the shot,
well done.
And a great save by Johnson. An early chance for Detroit City FC. That'll settle a little bit of nerves that they might have come out with to start this match.
Most definitely. I think, every little bit of success, you hope that it's incremental and you build on it and you start to put a little bit of doubt into the opponent. Cincinnati came in here playing very confidently, and City are looking to kind of chip away at that.
Cincinnati now breaking down the far side along the board. It's going to be cut inside there. A really good dribble to create the space for the shot.
Good block by Megan Miles.
Really good job by Megan Miles to be involved on that occasion. It's going to go off the boards. A little bit awkward for Shriver, but does well to get hands on it, and she's going to look forward, assess her options. Detroit City FC doing a quick little line change here. Joan Sija is going to receive the ball.
What a ball.
Great job by Shriver. Joan Sija
scores!
What a goal for Detroit City FC. That'll do for starters. Joan Sija. It was a great ball over the top by Gabby Shriver.
And you can see her excitement. Got the assist. Terrific ball from Gabby Shriver.
A really good job. And it was almost, you look up and all of a sudden Joan Sija just threw on goal. A great job to touch it. And Johnston was off of her line. There really not much she could do once Sija composed herself and had that touch on the ball. A great job for Detroit City FC to take the lead here early. We talk about settling nerves. We talk about having fight. Perfect example of it right there.
Yep.
Right back at it now, Detroit City FC. You kind of seen that exact play kind of happen is right away. Detroit City FC breaking once again. It's going to be a really good job and bodied off the ball right there. Detroit City FC, I believe, is going to get that call.
Yep. Referee was in a great position.
It's not often that Katie Coleman loses a physical battle right there, so when you kind of start to look at the referee if something like that happens to see, if there was truth in it or not.
The coach is a bit questioning the call, let's say.
And we saw this a lot last week. It's a great shot by Chris Mills down there, the center camera this week. Of course, Kyle Clayton's out this week, having a good time down in New Orleans. But we saw this there's no way he's watching this. But regardless, Chris Mills doing a great job. But we saw this last week where the referees explaining their calls to both the staff and the players on the field. I think that's a great thing.
Yep.
Stoppage time doesn't really exist, obviously, in arena soccer with the clock stopping. So if you have the chance to do it, go ahead and do it.
I agree. I think you made a really good point last week. You got to take advantage.
That one's coming in and just save. A smart save.
What a save.
And Katie Coleman, the one that won the free kick, almost nearly doubled Detroit City FC's lead here early on. And Detroit City FC, you kind of see them playing with a little bit more swagger than they were. And that shot's going to come in and nearly poked home there at the last second by Claire Serlino. It was a curling shot away from Johnston. But Detroit City FC, they're playing with more swagger than they did in the first couple minutes. Now that they've got the goal, they've had their chances. Things have settled down a little bit for them.
They really are. That was a lot of really good work from Shannon McCarthy, taking the ball out of pressure, finding the open player.
And now Detroit City FC's in a little bit of trouble there. It was Shannon McCarthy that lost out. Maybe benefited there by a little bit of a heavy touch from the visitors. And now they're going to kind of – you see them slowing the game down a little bit. I think the last couple minutes have just been so fast.
Yep.
Both sides of the field. They got to just settle down a little bit. But they don't really have the chance with Shannon McCarthy winning the ball that deep in the midfield. Shannon McCarthy's going to break forward. A great ball across. And that looked like more of a pass at first, but it doubled well as a shot as things turned out.
Yeah, I think in the indoor game, that far post, that schross, as they sometimes say, like you just hope for something good happening in the far post.
Is that in the Webster Dictionary? What is that?
Schross.
Okay.
Shot cross.
Oh,
we've come back to the portmanteau. We've come full circle.
Life is time is a circle.
It is.
Oh, referee's going to say that was a foul on that occasion. We're going to have a line change for Detroit City FC. I thought that was just a word straight up. I didn't realize that was the combination of two, which makes it a lot better.
I think it's more fun that way.
Okay.
Hey, while we've got this little break in the action, I noticed the Cincinnati goalkeeper there rolling the ball out for herself, playing a little quickly. Same thing with Gabby Shriver earlier. I have learned the rule.
Okay.
The goalkeeper has to release the ball in 5 seconds.
Wow.
And that's
So
why we saw some calls last week.
So it's like in basketball, a defensive 3-second violation?
Like there's a clock.
Same deal?
Yeah.
Okay.
As soon as they receive it, they've got 5 seconds to get rid of it. And like putting it in front of you on the dribble is not considered releasing it.
Mia Romeo's going to be running into some space here. She'll have Amanda Britton up with her on the far side if she can find her. Mia Romeo cutting
Nice
inside.
cut.
Really good job to slow things down there just a little bit. It's going to be the goal scorer, Seja, that's going to look up and try to find a teammate bursting forward. Unable to do so. Back across the back line. It'll be Britton this time being played into the area. I think there was just a miscommunication. Chris when you should have crossed when you should have Chris, on that occasion.
Classic mishap.
Wow. Speaking of mishap, I mean, just getting the whole word wrong there. Yeah. Breaking forward
Great
now,
ball.
a great ball. That'll
Good
find
run.
Megan Miles. A good ball, even better run there by Megan Miles. That one's going to be hesitated on just a little bit up against the boards. Referee doing well to get out of the way. Played back up to Tatiana Mason, edge of the area.
Good patience there from Tatiana.
Lamanali up with her. Hannah Crum now got involved in the goal-scoring action last week. Does really well to retain possession there against the boards. That was a clever little pass off of the boards right there.
Yep. Good ball.
Tatiana
Nice.
Mason's going to head it across. Crum just a little bit late to it. Going to get up to it, though, against the boards on this occasion. All the way back out to Nolly at the edge of the area. Nolly's going to be right for that. That one's going to go up. And I learned, Dave, we were sitting here before the game started. There's actually not a net up there. It just looks like there's a net.
And so it just naturally falls through.
Yeah.
But a wonderful illusion.
Yeah.
And it's fun to watch it happen.
Yeah.
It's
but
fun to watch it
from
happen.
where we're standing, folks, break the fourth wall a little bit. It looks like the net goes all the way across, and it doesn't. It just falls right in. So
I wish you guys could see it at home.
if they were that lucky to be able to see that,
Yeah.
that'd be awesome.
I was just going to say before that break in the action, you can really see City rising to the occasion here. Cincinnati are playing at an extremely high level. They haven't been rewarded for it with a goal just yet, but they're playing excellent indoor soccer. And you see City players starting to do some of the things Cincinnati does, clipping balls in off the boards, holding it up, getting it off their foot quickly because the pressure's coming. It's been really neat to see this City team rise to the level of opposition.
Yeah, and we talked about it, before we went on air last week. We didn't get the chance to bring it up, but some big news for the Detroit City FC women's program as a whole last week kind of broke. Naomi Grinaldo signing down with Club Pachuca and Liga MX. Just talk about, what she brought to the squad and how big of a deal that is for her and Detroit City FC women's program.
It's such a great achievement for her. It's so well-deserved. She's a fantastic young woman, and the whole family, their support for the club, the way they bought in. I mean, she was playing at a very young age for our W League team. Made her debut under Sam Pirani's leadership, and I had the good fortune to continue coaching her last summer. You kind of knew she was destined for great things, and for her to achieve a professional contract at such a young age, really so excited for her, so well-deserved. She's got an extremely bright future in the game, and it's a big feather in the cap of the club to have a former player now playing in the professional ranks on the women's side of things.
And you talk about buy-in. One of the things that I feel like gets overlooked with the Grimaldos as a whole is like every youth camp we do, everything we do in the summer, they were both at every single one of them. It was awesome to see and unbelievable for the young women around the Metro Detroit area that want to look at something and kind of achieve that one day. And it's a great start to see that pipeline, as well as Kenna White getting a pro contract over in Europe. Yep. It's exciting times for the women's team here at Detroit City FC.
It really is. Kenna signing in Hungary, another player who deserves it. Such a hard worker, such a great teammate, an incredible ambassador for the club, the same way Naomi was, and we're also excited for her to have this opportunity abroad. We will miss both of them this summer, but
wow.
Oh boy.
Yeah, that one's going to be. We're going to have a little stoppage in play right here. That one was. We could hear it from up here. That was there a card dispatched?
There was a blue card, yeah.
Okay.
Just I think I don't know that there was any malice. It was just maybe one of those little bit reckless tackles, and Fatima Nasser got up quickly, thank goodness. But that it sounded and looked pretty bad.
Yeah, it sounded. We could hear it from up here for sure. Definitely saw it down there on the pitch, but a blue card. So Detroit City FC has the lead and a player advantage now, as that one's going to go up and into the netting.
And this is a big opportunity for City. If you can create some chances here and sneak another goal, it really. Every little bit's going to help tonight. You're up against an opponent that can turn the game quickly, and you take advantage of the opportunity to have the ball.
And good to see Nasser get right back up after that. I don't think there was much, communication there. Just got right back up and ready to play again.
Yep.
So good to see she's back on her feet. And
Yep.
Detroit City FC, you mentioned how it's a big situation and a big opportunity for DCFC here. But last week against Louisville, we did see them with the power play concede a goal. So you don't want to make those same mistakes again. I'm sure they would have worked on that.
Yep.
But now Cincinnati, Speak of the devil kind of sneaking their way in right here.
Yeah, well, it's tricky. I think it's a time in the game where you're expecting, you almost just assume you're going to have the ball, and then all of a sudden the other team's breaking on you, and you're like, whoa, we got to defend.
You
and
committed
really
so many forward, yeah.
Yeah, you almost lose focus a little bit because you just kind of operate under the assumption that you're going to have the ball.
Serlina now breaking forward, elects to go for the shot. That's going to take a deflection off of the defender, but it'll be into the hands of Johnston in net.
Pretty impressive penalty kill here from Cincinnati. They've had the ball about as much as City, and they're dribbling their way out of pressure.
And that's a really dangerous ball. Shriver was off of her line to get to it. That's going to go up and into the top netting. So we'll see what the referee decides to do with that one as we have a stoppage in play here. Referee's going to assess the situation here. Going to be a free kick opportunity here on the line. We mentioned, great crowd again on hand this evening. Stands are full. See some people up in the clubhouse. Shout out to everyone watching in the city clubhouse.
Hey, everybody.
People against the glass. The thing is, I don't know if they have audio on up there.
Oh, yeah.
But I think they would, right?
I would think so.
I would think, yeah. I would say wave at us if you can hear us, but I don't think they know where we are. It's like it's a whole thing. Yeah.
You just see some random hands waving, but
no one's mad.
No one, yeah.
Good run there by Amanda Britton. Tried to get over to that one, unable to do so. So it's back in at the feet of Cincinnati as they're trying to kill off this Detroit City FC power play. Shriver's going to let this one roll all the way back to her before looking up and realizing she has Mia Romeo out wide in some space. And Cincinnati's allowing Romeo to kind of step up and into the space here a little bit.
Yep, they're in a little bit of a diamond formation, trying to kill the last of this penalty off. City finally able to find a little bit of a rhythm of possession here, which is what they...
Across Katie Addison! Wow. That was a noise I've never heard out of David Dwahey. It is 2-0 to Detroit City FC. The ball it was a great ball from out wide, and Kayla Addison let it bounce, let it come to her, and then put the strike into the back of the net to make it 2-0 for Detroit City FC.
That was unabashed excitement on my part. What a finish from Addie.
You can't ask for a better finish than that. We'll see it again right here. It came out wide from Romeo, got it in a great first-time ball, and it was so casual.
Yeah.
The way Addison kind of just, put her foot on it, got it by her, and it's 2-0 Detroit City FC.
Yeah, and I think forwards are always better off when they're a little relaxed. Like you said, there was just there was almost an element of calm in it, which I think helped her make perfect contact, which she needed to do. And
we mentioned last week in the Louisville game, I think they did a really good job of containing the threat of Kayla Addison. They didn't really allow her to play with her back to goal where she's most comfortable in the first two games of the year. And I haven't really seen her get into that position too much tonight, but she's dangerous in so many ways that she can just be a poacher, a fox in the box, and not really play the physical side, but still apply the great finish that's needed to make it 2-0.
Well said.
So Detroit City FC now operating. So, of course, the penalty's over for Cincinnati. So it's back to full strength for both sides. But Detroit City FC now 2-0 up here, with 3 minutes left in this first quarter of action. Referee's going to call, I think he's pointing to a corner. We haven't seen a penalty yet.
No.
And we thought we would on a couple of occasions.
I think for a penalty to happen, it's almost got to be like a clear foul in the box. We thought we saw one, but maybe they gave it just outside the box. But I do think it's a thing. I think a penalty shot in indoor soccer is still a thing. We just haven't seen it yet.
There we go. So we'll see. It was sort of like a weird corner type deal.
Yeah.
Action.
This is close. This is an opportunity for Cincinnati to no doubt work on something they've scripted on the training ground. City are going to have to really lock in defensively here, and even if they do, you're likely facing a shot of some sort.
And it's funny, we're seeing it from up here, but Kayla Addison, Tatiana Mason, and Alama Nali are literally standing at the near post.
They're goalies, right?
Yeah, they just can't. They still can't use their hands.
Right. Yeah, they have to just make.
And
sure
then the Cincinnati player is setting a pick right there, so that's something they're working on. And the only really angle Shriver, but I bet she's going to duck right when this comes in.
Yeah, we're going to see it play out. Oh, that's
kind of a little situation right there. I don't even know what to call that. But Detroit City FC now on the break via Tatiana Mason. Tatiana Mason making some headway into the Cincinnati half of the pitch, and they're going to kind of – it looks like they're reeling just a little bit here as we're kind of coming to the end of this first quarter. Not really sure if they expected this to be the situation they found themselves in just 12 and a half minutes in. And Kayla Addison, a great turn by her, kind of played it into nobody, but I think 9 times out of 10 there's someone where she played that ball.
That's the right idea. You usually do have someone sealing the top of the box there, and the City players just weren't quite hip to it. But I think, like you said, the Cincinnati team a little bit rattled just by the. And we mentioned this
last week, every time a team comes to Keyworth, it's kind of their cup final because of the unique atmosphere that's around Detroit City FC via the greatest supporters in the country.
Yep.
It's the same thing here in the Fieldhouse, right? Like, you're coming in, you're having the best atmosphere in the PASL, and you want to shut that up. But so far, Cincinnati has struggled to create chances to kind of assert their dominance in this game, and Detroit City FC's 2-0 up.
Yeah. And full credit to Detroit City FC. I think they weathered the storm the first few minutes. They found their footing now, and they're playing with a lot of confidence. And I think Cincinnati are used to being the dominating team. It's an unfamiliar role.
And we see it right here, that the combination that led to that first goal, Shriver over the top to Sija, nearly worked again, just unable to find Nasser on that occasion. And Detroit City FC is going to be really confident the way they're playing, and we can see it with every pass, with every touch, the confidence that they have, in their boots right now.
Yep. Yeah, and I think it's a nice contrast to last week, because I think last week as the game wore on, they almost played with a little bit of
got timid a little bit. Yeah,
like frustration and anxiety start to settle in, and the game's not going your way. It's nice to see them, playing with a little more swagger tonight.
And we mentioned it, earlier in this broadcast, but yesterday as well, or last week as well. I think Detroit City FC played well enough to get the win last week, but it was a great goalkeeping performance by the visiting goalkeeper, and maybe just, one or two touches that didn't really go their way. As Shannon McCarthy's going to get the ball here on the fourth of the pitch belonging to Cincinnati, going to go all the way back. It's going to be all the way back. Serlino now on the pitch. Amanda Britton's going to play it out wide. A great ball to McCarthy, just a little bit too much on it. Siege is going to be pressing a little bit, trying to get over to it.
I like the way City are sort of solving the riddle of pressure that Cincinnati are providing. They've gotten themselves out of some tough situations just by playing quick passes. It's really been high-level stuff for both teams.
Yeah, and I've seen little clever things that, are specific to arena soccer. We saw one a couple minutes ago with Hannah Crum going off the boards, and that's just the way this whole team is learning how to adapt to this style of play. That ball is going to come in, and Shriver I feel like she would have had that one covered, but goes up into the netting, and that'll be calm things down a little bit for DCFC here with just 38 seconds remaining in this first quarter. Shriver asking the team to come up to her. He's going to throw it into some space. A really good job to throw that one into space to find Megan Miles. Megan Miles has Kayla Addison up with her. Kayla Addison's going to receive it. Kayla Addison, a great touch inside from the dangerous 40. Kayla Addison in front of the net.
Oh, wow. That had to have hit like the top corner.
Yeah, that was upper 90 for sure. And you could see it in her face as she was kind of reeling away from that one, that she kind of wants that one back because she knew that was a golden opportunity right there.
And with the time left in the quarter, that would have been good timing to score. But hey, she's getting in that spot. She's making smart runs. They're finding her. Megan Miles with a great run there to kind of give Gabby Shriver a last-minute option.
That was tricky, but good job by Shriver there to stay alert. And Detroit City FC goes into the first intermission here, up 2-0, Dave.
Great stuff from City.
Don't go anywhere. We will be right back for the second quarter of action here from the Detroit City Fieldhouse. You don't want to miss it. Detroit City FC sitting pretty, 2-0 over Cincinnati. Welcome back to the Detroit City Fieldhouse. After one quarter of play, Detroit City FC finds itself up by a score of 2-0. Dave, what did we see in that first quarter that led to Detroit City FC's success?
Well, I think we saw an initial phase of the game where Cincinnati were kind of all over City, and City had to weather the storm a bit, but they handled that so well. They didn't panic. They didn't bunker in too much. They remained dangerous on the counter. And then that first goal just gave them this shot of life that they've since been riding out. They got a second goal for their efforts, and all of a sudden you're looking at Cincinnati expecting them to have a response. City played that first quarter extremely well.
And Detroit City FC is going to look to do more of the same. You mentioned that first phase of play, Detroit City FC weathering the storm, the importance of that. We say that, but Cincinnati didn't really have a clear-cut chance in that moment. It was more so they were just dominating play and playing with a confidence that we really haven't seen so far this season that DCFC's had to come up against.
Yep. Yeah, I think just in terms of the ability to keep the ball, the ability to pressure, Cincinnati are playing at a level that City haven't really had to deal with.
Really good job there by Shriver to get that one out, and I think Kayla Addison and the Detroit City team maybe would have enjoyed the referee allowing that to kind of play out, but it's going to come all the way back to Shriver, and we'll kind of start from the front. Once again, it's going to be Mia Romeo that's going to receive the ball out wide. Going to have Shannon McCarthy back with her. Tatiana Mason as well on the pitch now for Detroit City. Katie Coleman out there. Kayla Addison. So a familiar 6 out there for LaRouge.
Yep. It's interesting you mentioned advantage. In the indoor game with the accumulation of fouls and 2-minute penalties, I almost wonder if in certain situations you – but I think
that one's going to be played through Shriver. A great
save.
And you can see the frustration on the Cincinnati players' forward's face. She wanted that one back.
Yeah.
Golden opportunity right there to kind of claw one back early on in the second quarter.
Yep. And I like watching what Shriver's doing. She's playing these early deep balls in, trying to catch Cincinnati on the counter, trying to recreate the magic of the first goal.
And what we see right here is sort of the danger of that, right? Like just bypassing the midfield, just going that direct. You can, if it doesn't work out, you're kind of in a bad situation numbers-wise.
Yep.
But Detroit City FC looking like they're going to hold on to this one all the way back to Shriver, and we'll see what happens here. We see Sija kind of up by herself on an island, and I think Shriver saw it too, going to try to get it up forward to her. Hannah Crum's going to be making a run onto it as well. Shriver stayed down on this occasion. You're going to get back up, and referee's going to call that as a foul against Hannah Crum. It's been a physical game so far in the first 16 and a half minutes here, more so than we've seen in the other games so far this season.
Definitely. I think Cincinnati, part of their experience in the indoor game is their knowledge that you gain a lot of ground by kind of putting your body in there and getting an extra shove in and trying to win the spot physically, and they're trying to assert themselves. But City not backing down.
That one's going to go up into the netting. So Detroit City FC going to kind of get a free possession here in a little bit of a way. Sort of a missed kick there from the set-piece situation. It's going to come to Detroit City FC. The crowd, of course, getting behind this team. That finds themselves 2-0 up into this second quarter.
A little set-piece for City. They've really, talking to Coach Danny Evans throughout the week, she talked about looking back at the game against Louisville, feeling like, I think when you watch a game back, you see things very differently. And she was pleased with the set pieces. She thought they created some good chances. All of them were executed as they had worked on in training, and I think that's something that they're going to look to get better and better at. But she's happy with where they are right now, and as evidenced here, where they've kept the ball and haven't squandered it.
Nasser is eventually going to get it back to Miles. He's going to play it up forward for Kayla Addison. Kayla Addison just showing off that strength, creating the space for herself, but still on the ball, going to get knocked down. Sort of a little tanglement right there, but right back to the feet, the both of them. Shriver's going to play that one up into the netting.
It's unfortunate because I think she hit that ball almost perfectly. It just grazed the netting, and I think if that ball doesn't hit it, it's dropping right where she wanted it, right into that corner for a player to try and track down and hold up.
And, I mentioned the physicality that we've seen so far tonight, but a little bit more intensity too. We kind of see a little bit of chirping going on, a little bit of, competitive edge, and that's what you want, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I think, the indoor game, you're in close quarters. There's a lot of physical contact, and, like the sport of hockey, you tend to get a couple battles going on, some conflict, and players thrive on that. And I think both teams giving as much as they're getting here.
And there's really nowhere to hide in arena soccer, very similar to hockey. Not to say you can hide in outdoor soccer, but there's less places to hide in arena soccer.
Yeah, just smaller area.
And that alone will do it. Shriver's going to throw that one long, looking for, it's going to be Amanda Britton, try to get up that header. Lamanali's going to be called into action here, going out wide is Fatima Nasser to kind of do some defensive work. A really good job to get to ground there. That's going to be entanglement right there, and you can see the disappointment right there. Fatima Nasser already thrown into the boards on one occasion, but Surly not afraid to get stuck in, and we're going to see, that was a physical battle right there. And it's going to
Well
go
done.
the way. I think there was a little bit of a hand situation going on there. I think that's what it was for.
Yep.
But early on, only her second appearance. We're not seeing Fatima Nasser afraid or backing down from any situations.
That was impressive. For a player, from what I understand of her in an 11-on-11 setting, she's the number 10. She's the player that's getting on the ball and trying to pick the other team apart, playing with very limited defensive responsibility. She can clearly do it. Watching her there battle and scrap and fight and, claw her way to earning a foul, I think very balanced game. She's obviously capable of getting it done on both ends.
McCarthy's going to play it back to Shriver. Shriver's looking forward, does a
ball.
really good job to poke that one over to Tatiana Mason. Tatiana Mason looks for the run of Amanda Britton, going to go back into the hands of Cincinnati. Cincinnati's going to, assess the situation here, try to play it out wide before cutting it all the way back to the goalkeeper. It's going to be Joan Seja applying the pressure to the Cincinnati back line.
Good track. Ooh,
and that one's going to go to ground on that occasion. The referee
she might be in trouble here.
Not going to like that one. Yeah, that one's going to be a blue card.
She was on an accumulation there. And
yeah.
Not for the foul itself, but for the
accumulation. The pickup of it, yeah. Making sure which box to go into. See Chad Alio right there off camera.
Hey,
shout out Chad Alio.
Big shout out.
So Detroit City FC for the first time finds themselves a player down this evening against a really talented Cincinnati side. Not something you want to put them in the position of too often. And almost immediately Gabby Shriver called into action. Nearly a unlucky deflection there in front of the goal. But Cincinnati now on the ball. Really interested to see how Detroit City FC handles this penalty kill. A great job there to cut that one out. That was Katie Coleman on that occasion, and Tatiana Mason running forward. Did a great job to win that foul.
Very smart.
Tatiana Mason knew the pressure was coming, made herself a little bit bigger, and just went over and earned that foul.
That's an experienced move from Tatiana Mason, sensing the pressure, realizing she had won the spot, had the lane, knowing that the Cincinnati players were maybe a little overzealous, trying to win it right back, and drawing a foul, giving her team an opportunity to do what they're doing right now, dump it and catch their breath.
Yeah, really good job there by Shriver to call off the defender and say, I got this one, just going to kick it forward and kick it long. Detroit City FC now kind of in a numbers situation here as Katie Coleman's going to have to do some work to track back. It's going to be Tatiana Mason and eventually cut out by Shannon McCarthy. Shannon McCarthy does really well to shield the ball. Back to Mason, but Mason unable to clear it out of her zone. The shot comes in, and a great save by Shriver. Going to be needed on the rebound.
Well done.
Claire Serlino, and eventually into the hands of Shriver.
Excellent work.
And the clock's still ticking, so this is great by Shriver, kind of taking her time to get up a little bit before, seconds coming off the clock here. Drummond, for the visitors, is kind of talking to the referee, like, we got to get this game back underway, but no complaints so far from the Detroit City FC team.
That was just great.
A really good ball into space by Mason. McCarthy just maybe a little bit, not enough on it, but Mason does really well to be in that position in the first place. But Claire Serlino kind of asked to defend here all the way across. A great job by Cincinnati. Wow. And you're not going to get many better chances than that one. And a great job by McCarthy to stay in this one. It's going to come all the way out, and the shot comes in just a little bit wide. Shriver's going to get to the hands of that one, and this Cincinnati team's not afraid to play physically.
No, they're not. They're throwing their weight around. I think if you're City, you're feeling a little fortunate that Cincinnati didn't capitalize on that last chance, but good teams create their own luck. They were hustling. They were flying around the box. Clearly, understandably fatigued from having to kill off this penalty, but found themselves getting out of it. And
want to give a quick shout out to the YouTube chat, going absolutely crazy on this occasion. It's sort of, Chris Mills Sr. in there, Chris Mills' father, making sure his son's doing a good job on the camera. And then all of Chris's friends just making fun of him for not doing a good job on the camera. So it's an interesting dynamic in the YouTube chat right now. Yeah. Fun for everybody but the guy in center camera. So hopefully he can keep all that. Well, Kayla Addison is going to put some pressure on. Kayla Addison is in front of goal, and that was nearly 3-0 Detroit City FC.
Can we go on the record here and just say what a great job Chris is doing?
I'm not prepared to say that yet.
Okay.
But you're not in 5 group chats with the kid like I am. Right. So I can't really say he's doing too well of a job. And
I have the luxury of.
Yeah. If there's ever, we'll see.
I have some distance from the conversation.
Oh, you should be happy about that. Mm-hmm. Cincinnati now looking to get a goal here. Is Detroit City FC still down a player, I believe. I only am counting. There's 5.
No, they're at 5,
Yeah, okay. Oh, you know what it was? I saw the player over there in the Detroit City FC bench, and I thought it was, depth perception got the better of me.
Hey, you corrected it immediately.
I know. You won't get that kind of, truthfulness? We talked about last week. We're so truthful on the broadcast. We got to be.
Veracity.
Oh, my gosh.
I think
that's a teacher word if I've ever heard it. Like, that's awesome.
I've been preparing for the SAT.
Really?
No.
Really good job there by Kayla Addison to get a foot in. It's going to be Amanda Britton really doing well to win the ball back. Kayla Addison kind of just lost her footing a little bit, but a great job to clear it up the pitch, and now Cincinnati kind of has to reorganize.
Can I just say I love that kind of effort from what we just saw from Kayla Addison. Just like a clear desire to compete and win, and like she kind of missed on her first swing and then just like made a great second effort to clear the ball. Like the City players are locked in right now. I think this Cincinnati team has really brought out the best in them. They're making them raise their level, and the City players are kind of thriving on the challenge. And
a really good job there by Kayla Addison to spread the play out wide a little bit and involve Megan Miles in that situation. Mia Romeo is going to have some work to do up against the boards. It's going to be Nassau that's going to make a way over to assist with that. Good job to poke it out on that situation, but it's going to be Cincinnati now breaking. They just have Megan Miles in front of her. But you talk about fight desire for Team of Nassau, showing it off right there.
What a track back there. That was awesome.
Shot comes in, and I said shot comes in knowing that she was faking that.
What a fake.
I know. I saw it and still said it. That's how good it was.
That was a fantastic fake, and Cincinnati still have the ball.
Good job here by Cincinnati, just kind of probing this Detroit City FC back line in midfield. It's going to remain with them in the middle of the pitch. Calm, composed play for a team that's down 2-0 here. It's going to fall to the feet of Nassau. Nassau does a really good job to beat the defender, but kind of loses her footing a little bit. And a great job there by Amanda Britton to get between the defender and the ball to retain possession for her side. Miles now going to receive it. Tried to boot it upfield. I think she had Britton up with her, as well as Joan Seja playing up top. More advanced role from Seja this evening than we've seen in the past. Mia Romeo kind of loses it there, but a great job to stay in it. But still, Detroit City FC in a little bit of trouble here and just kind of falls over on the ball. And Mia Romeo, pretty happy to see that. But still, Detroit City FC just maybe falling off a little bit here.
Yeah, not out of trouble just yet.
Good job by Shriver to get down. We see the Detroit City Distillery sign in front of us, so we can't really see. There's about a 10-degree angle that we can't really see the ball.
Yeah.
But luckily, Shriver saw it and put it into her hands.
In some ways, it's reminiscent. It's obviously very early in the game, but I'm watching the way Detroit City FC are defending and benefiting from clearances into a target, like what we're seeing right now. It kind of reminds me of what Louisville were able to do to City last week. They kind of absorbed pressure. They sat back. They mostly defended, and yet when they got going forward, there was like a freedom in that, and it was like the novelty of going forward almost helped them create better chances, and I think City are kind of taking advantage of a similar effect.
Really good effort there by Tatiana Mason to get over quick and get a foot in there at least. Jada McCarthy's going to have some defensive work to do. It's played all the way
Good
forward,
read,
and a great job there by Lemonali to cut that one out. And Detroit City FC kind of have numbers here.
She's going.
Just a little bit. It was a difficult ball because she was going kind of across her body. We'll see a contact there in the midfield. Both players get up, and we see the advantage played right there.
Look at that hustle.
And a great job by Kayla Addison to get back. She missed out on that through ball a couple seconds prior and then just sprinted the length of the pitch to get back and get a touch in right there.
That's what you want from your target forward, that selflessness to say, you know what, I got to put in a shift right now, sprint back for my team. And what a difference. Those little moments add up over the course of a game. You hustle like that. You help your team get out of trouble. And all of a sudden you're not down. You're not only up 2-1, you're up 2-0 still.
And we saw right there, I think it was Katie Coleman that tried to find Shannon McCarthy, who was kind of unmarked up in a more advanced area of the pitch than we've seen her all night. A great job going to ground there. The referee is going to disagree with that and say that was a foul on that occasion. So sort of an unfortunate situation there. Now the other referee blew his whistle, so I'm not really too sure what the situation's going to be here.
Are we seeing a card?
We're seeing a blue. Oh, so
look, two blues.
They both
double blue.
They didn't both have to put it up. If we're being honest.
Are they doing that because do they negate one another?
If they PEMDAS, if we're looking at PEMDAS, it cancels it out.
It's like adding and subtracting.
They both didn't have to put the blue card.
No.
I'm a referee defender in a lot of occasions, but you're standing right there.
Excessive.
Yeah, you're standing. I think they both wanted to do it, and it's like they knew the camera was on.
We'll give them the benefit of the doubt. Maybe it was a miscommunication, and they didn't see that the other one had their hand on it.
Maybe.
I think once you're getting it out of the pocket, I think as a ref you just have to take it out.
But like the other guy was clearly coming over to give the card, so I don't know. But I mean,
is it possible there were two blue cards?
I'd be shocked unless it's an accumulation and that foul was a blue card.
Yeah.
But then I feel like the same referee could just go like this, put it away, and then go like this again. So who knows?
Yeah.
And for those not watching at home, I did the animation of pulling out the card and then putting it back in the
I wish you guys could have seen it.
Yeah, it was pretty good.
Refs having a little discussion here. Maybe they're planning their next blue card
They're like,
issue.
next time I'm doing it.
It's my turn.
That's tough.
Yeah.
But it was entertaining.
Thankless job.
Yeah, it was.
It's given us something to talk about. We appreciate those guys. They do a fantastic job, by the way.
They really
These referees, top level refs. I know a number of them, recognize a lot of them from the club soccer world, the high school soccer world. Detroit City FC, very fortunate to have such quality referees working these games.
You know, I actually did the USSF certification to referee grassroots soccer games.
Did you?
And then I was like, I don't know if I want to. I don't know if I want to do that.
It's tough. I've been thrown into the action at times. Like
it's a lot of pressure.
It is.
And you got to be in shape. You really do.
You got to be moving, and there's situations where you truly there's no way to know what the right thing to do is, and you just kind of got to go by instinct. And someone's going to be upset. You're getting a lot of negative thrown your way, and it's very difficult. But yeah, these refs handle it well and very professional.
So Detroit City FC now down a player once again. The first penalty kill for Le Rouge was actually really well executed by them, so hoping for more of the same. But despite that, Cincinnati did create chances in those moments for themselves to try to get a goal back here. Just 5.5 minutes remaining in the first half.
They did. You see it here. They kind of inch their way forward. They make the extra pass.
Really good job. And that one's a great block there by Megan Miles, and it needed to be, or else that one was going for the top corner.
You see a lot of these situations where you're almost thinking, man, Cincinnati are getting a little unlucky. Ball's just not falling their way, and you can only ride your luck so long.
Detroit City FC now having some defensive work to do. Hannah Crum's going to shift over to the far side. He has Claire Serlino back with her defending. Tatiana Mason's going to go out to the edge of the area to assist that one. Megan Miles doing a really good job to hold on to it there. That one's going to be cleared off the line at the last second.
Megan
a great
Miles.
job by this official here on the near side to sort of like a safe.
A great view,
yeah, really good job.
And
Detroit City FC, though, but that'll be a shot across the bow for the back line.
Yep. Great clearance from Megan Miles. Very alert to that.
Detroit City FC now kind of dodged a bullet there. It's sort of the second or third time this game. We're on another occasion. Maybe Cincinnati finds the back of the net with their quality, but Detroit City FC not out of the woods yet. That strike's going to come in. Oof. And just along the backboards there, and then sort of a half-hearted rebound effort right there, but into the hands of Shriver, and she's going to hold on to it for as long as she can. We see the official similarly in basketball doing the
counting.
Yeah, doing the counting.
Now we know. I'm so glad. And it was that official, Conlon Campbell, who reached out to me to let me know as a broadcast team, because he kind of noticed that we were a little confused by it last week.
Wow. So he's watching.
He's watching.
Okay.
He's giving us notes.
He's not going to like the blue card.
He knows
comment.
we're having fun.
Okay. All right. As long as he knows we're silly, then.
Yeah. We love you, Conlon. You're doing a great job out there. And the double blue card was extremely enjoyable.
It was.
We'll talk about it later.
It was a good moment. Cincinnati now looking to actually put the ball in the net on this occasion. That was going to come all the way back. A great poke away at the last second by Claire Serlino. Detroit City FC, though, still in a great job by Hannah Crum there to stay involved and stay in the fight on that occasion.
Look at Conlon getting up for that one. Was that on film?
We're going to have to see.
He got a touch. Some help from outside.
I don't know who that is. I don't know if that's like a.
That's just a good Samaritan. Oh,
EMT.
It's the EMT doing it all tonight.
That's crazy.
Let's hope he has nothing else to do.
Let's hope that's the only thing he has to do tonight.
Let's hope he has nothing else to do tonight.
That's a really good job by the EMT. And if that's all he has to do tonight, 10 out of 10.
Yeah. It's a good
Serlino with the pressure. Going to do really well to poke that one away at the last second. Claire Serlino's going to burst forward into space. Claire Serlino has Hannah Crum up with her. The goalkeeper's off her line. Kayla Addison checks into the game. And a really heads-up play there from Serlino. Did really well to hold on to it and kind of keep the run going against the boards. Difficult to do so under the pressure she was under.
Yep. She's got terrific pace, and I think in situations like that, she almost knows that if she can just keep the ball in front of her, no one's likely to catch her. I mean, she's got tremendous pace going forward.
And that took time off the clock, and now Detroit City FC's back to full strength with 3.5 minutes. So I guess it wasn't a double blue card, but it was a double blue card in real life. Yeah. So 3.5 minutes, just under 3.5 minutes remaining here at the Detroit City Fieldhouse in the first half of action. Detroit City FC, 2 goals in that first quarter, and it's been an even game since then.
Yeah, even though there haven't been any goals in the second quarter, it's been extremely exciting. Chances both ways.
And I think the bulk of the chances have been with the visitors. I think they had a couple that they'll want back, and really good fight there. And a great turn there by Nasser.
That's just quality.
That was awesome, and the crowd's going to love that one. And Shriver's going to boot that one forward into space. I think she was hoping Amanda Britton would cut inside, but Nasser still, look at that tenacity from Nasser. Gets it up the pitch to Addison, and Kayla Addison now has numbers up with her if she can find them. Addison's going to play all the way across to Shannon McCarthy. Shannon McCarthy in some space, assessing the options. Sees Amanda Britton running beyond her. Shannon McCarthy's going to play in Britton. Britton led with her back to goal. Up against the boards. It goes off, and Kayla Addison was lurking around in the area. It's going to be Fatima Nasser once again. That's all the way back, but Mia Romeo is going to put the foot in here to win possession back from her side. Kayla Addison's going to go over to the board, try to get this from back. It goes to McCarthy. McCarthy assessing the options before breaking forward. Britton plays it all the way back to Mia Romeo, who's got Nasser's cover with her. Addison's going to just kind of chip that one up, sort of a chip shot situation. Going to come all the way back to Nasser. Nasser has Shriver. A great and that's
move. Drawing a foul.
And
there.
she gets right back up.
Wow.
And then arguably a second foul, but the referee blew the whistle already. She can't really believe that one. The blue card's going to come out. Oh, they have the double.
They're both ready. They did it again.
God.
They've done it again.
That's a double.
They've done it again. Maybe it's a thing. Maybe they're supposed to as like a gesture of agreement.
I've never seen it happen once, let alone twice, where both referees pull out the blue card. And I think we mentioned they know they're on camera. They know the pressure of the situation, and they just want to make sure that everyone in here knows that there was a blue card dispatched.
That might be it, too, just from the standpoint of visibility. Hey, I meant to say before we got on that tangent, I've been so impressed with Fatima Nasser's contributions both ways tonight. Defensively, she's put in an absolute shift. And then when she gets the ball, as you can see there drawing that foul, she's just really difficult to dispossess, and the Cincinnati players getting a little bit frustrated in their attempts to get it off of her.
So for the next 2 minutes, Detroit City FC is going to be up a player. We got about 2 minutes and 5 seconds left in the half. So pretty much for the end of this entire first half, Detroit City FC is going to be a player up, and a huge opportunity here for Danny Evans' side to go into the break strong.
Massive opportunity. I think if they can keep the ball for the better part of this power play, whether they score or not, you've got a great opportunity to see this half out and not concede.
Mia Romeo is going to do really well to hold on to possession there. It's Tatiana Mason back to it before being played to Katie Coleman. Katie Coleman looking forward. We see Joan Sija calling for it, tonight's first goal scorer. Sija up against the boards. That one's going to bounce all the way back and kind of just cleared out of the zone there by Cincinnati. And if you're Detroit City FC, obviously you want to retain possession, but you're somewhat okay with that, taking seconds off the clock. Shriver's going to have a go. It's going to go up and perfectly fall back into the goal on that occasion.
The netting is just doing a really nice job.
Who did the netting here?
I don't know.
They did a great job.
Mac, I just noticed something. Is there a goalkeeper change for Cincinnati?
Maybe.
I feel like it's a different goalie than we saw in the first quarter. I didn't notice it until now.
And you kind of wonder why that would be. I don't think any of the goals were anything she did wrong. Maybe it's a distribution thing.
Yeah, maybe they
it's
rotate.
Something like that.
I think that could well be it because, like you said, there was no obvious – probably a foul there. Maybe a blue card.
Oh, are they both going to do it?
Just one.
Just one. See, that's the thing. It's just one that time.
That's unfortunate for City. Katie Coleman not doing anything wrong. They're just trying to win a tackle, but I think the nature of the tackle was such that they felt that was blue card worthy, and now that evens it up. Yeah, and you kind of wonder if there's like an added pressure, because of how good of an opportunity it was to kind of maybe put the half to bed or get a third goal. Yep.
Just the intensity and the passion that you have to play with in these situations. But for the first time, I think so far it's 4v4, which could be fun.
Yeah.
Outfield players.
I'm excited to see it. Referee having a discussion with number 20, calling her back. Seems like maybe she said something after the fact.
I mean, if you're putting up 2 blue cards, you're not taking that.
No.
I think the referees across the whole sport this past year have done a really good job with handling dissent. It's a tricky situation for the referee to be in because they know the passion and they know mentally where these players are at all across the sport around the world. So I think the sport as a whole has done a really good job dealing with that this season.
Yeah, and you gotta keep players in check. It's there's a line, and when it's crossed, it's the referee's job to let them know. And referees tonight doing a really nice job with that and communicating well with both benches and the players involved. I think a little bit of discussion goes such a long way, and as a player, I think you really appreciate that, the referee that's willing to talk to you and explain things and let you know when you've gotten stepped out of line.
So Detroit City FC and Cincinnati, both a player down here. So Cincinnati will start the half with a player advantage for about a minute as things level out, barring any goals from either side. Referee still explaining this one to the coach. This be Jacob Morrison for the visitors. Just explained it over to Danny Evans on the Detroit City FC bench, and now Morrison gets the explanation. Referee is about ready to blow this whistle and get us back underway.
I have a question. If a goal is scored, would it follow that the team that scores stays shorthanded, but the other team gets a player back?
I hope we find out, and it's Detroit City FC that we have to answer that question for. And that one's going to come in a great job by Megan. Megan Miles has been absolutely fantastic this evening.
Awesome back there.
Been everywhere, been crucial blocks, important interceptions, a really good job by her. And Shriver does well to get to the ground and get 2 hands on that one with just 40 seconds remaining in this first half. And looks up and sees, we talked about Megan Miles running through Tatiana Mason as well.
Smart run from Megan. Just to stretch the Cincinnati back line, kind of work them back enough so that they got further to go.
Oh, the referee's going to call that one against Lemonali.
Yeah.
24 seconds left in the half. Detroit City FC, you kind of, where they're at, you kind of think maybe they want to see this half out and go into the break with a 2-0 advantage. That one's going to be poked all the way back. Tatiana Mason cleared it just over the glass a little bit. The glass kind of gets a little bit smaller than it does just 5 inches to the left.
And I think where it went out, it constitutes a top of the box free kick here as opposed to on the side. Ref was signaling for that. Kind of a preferred position. Oh, maybe see a timeout.
I think we're going to see a timeout. We're going to talk about this one. So, Dave, with just 18 seconds left in the half, what have we seen so far for Detroit City FC and Cincinnati?
Terrific battle. I think for the City players, this is, last week we said over and over again, this is kind of in that Louisville game, which was so hotly contested. You wanted a battle. You wanted a close game, and they got it. And now they've got maybe an even stronger opponent tonight. They've risen to the occasion. They're really having to pull out all the stops to keep Cincinnati from scoring. And, it's just really neat to see a team grow over the course of a season, and as they play stronger and stronger opposition, raise their level accordingly. The defensive side of things for City tonight has been really impressive to me. You're seeing it right here before this set piece. They're in one-on-one situations. They're not backing down. They're playing tough. They're playing very physically, and Cincinnati kind of bringing out the best of City.
Some news for Detroit City FC men's first team this afternoon, going to the 2024 Desert Showcase out in Tucson, Arizona. Defeated Grand Canyon University in a friendly today by a score of 2-0. Maxi Rodriguez and Ali Coote getting in on the goals for Detroit City FC. So, this Arena Soccer League has been awesome. It kind of bridged the gap from the outdoor season to the outdoor season, but it's good to see things kind of building up as a whole around the club as we get ready for the start of the USL Championship season as well as the USLW League season.
It really is, yeah. On the social media side of things, it's so neat to see all that activity. The women have a game tonight. The men are playing out west. It's just really kind of gives you a full sense of everything the club has going on. It's not to speak of all the, my son who plays for our youth program had a game earlier today here at the Fieldhouse.
You've been here all day.
Yeah, it's so cool to have so much going on. In all facets of the club.
And so wholly supported across the board, right?
Yep.
Like we mentioned, the packed house here tonight, and we'll see that, of course, at Keyworth this year, and that shot had some pace behind it, some mustard on it, if you will, and it's going to go up and down into the netting for Gabby Shriver. Referee wants to get a touch in on the ball on this occasion.
Good chance for Gabby to kind of
thrown forward. A great
well
job.
Done, Amanda Britton. Ooh, this might be
Amanda Britton kind of has some space here. 8 seconds remaining, 5 seconds remaining, comes all the way back, and I think Detroit City FC is going to consolidate a little bit, and that one, despite a little bit of a worrying moment right there for Tatiana Mason, Detroit City FC is going to go into the half, 2 goals to the good.
Great spot for them. They got to be feeling good about that.
Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back for the second half of action here at the Detroit City Fieldhouse. Detroit City FC 2, Cincinnati Sirens FC 0. Welcome back to the Detroit City Fieldhouse. Detroit City FC looking good with a 2-0 lead over the Cincinnati Sirens FC as we get ready here for the second half of action. Dave, Detroit City FC, they came out, got those early 2 goals in the first quarter and just kind of, allowed themselves to build that foundation for quarter number 2.
Yeah, it's been really cool to watch this game. They've worked their way in. Cincinnati continuing to apply a lot of pressure, playing some great soccer, but have not yet found a way through. The Detroit City back line, led by goalkeeper Gabby Shriver, has been very locked in tonight, and some outstanding play, some great goal line clearances, some great extra efforts with players like Kayla Addison tracking back to make clearances in her own half of the field. It's been a team effort from the City players.
Yeah, you mentioned team effort. On multiple occasions, we've seen Fatima Nasser kind of dropping back from sort of the midfield attack to come back and get crucial tackles in. Megan Miles has been absolutely everywhere tonight, as well as Kayla Addison sprinting the length of the pitch right after something didn't go her way, on a counterattack. So really a collective effort here this evening, and Detroit City FC, deservedly finds themselves up here as we head into the second half of action. Another great crowd at the Fieldhouse. We're seeing the lights kind of doing their thing, the crowd getting into it as well as the final preparations coming in from Jacob Morrison as well as Danny Evans' side to if you're her, if you're Danny Evans, you want more of the same in the second half. What's Cincinnati got to switch up to kind of get back into this game?
I imagine their coach, has a lot of faith in the players and in their game plan, and he's telling them, stay the course. They haven't played poorly. They've executed well. They just haven't quite had that last the last pass has been an inch off, or the finish has been just a little bit scuffed instead of put in cleanly.
Scuffed, yeah.
And so I think, if they can just tighten it up a little bit and stay the course, he's probably going to like his chances. But, they're up against it. City are playing extremely well, and they're not backing down, and they're dangerous on the other end.
And we mentioned, before the game, the acclaim that Cincinnati comes into this game with, 4-time national champions, the list goes on, but then you got to play the game. You got to get there, you got to make the trip up, and you got to play the game. And so far, Detroit City FC playing the game just a little bit better, a little bit more sharper. I think you said it well when you mentioned that Cincinnati hasn't played poorly. I think they've had a couple opportunities that on a different day they would score. But you look down the other end, so is Detroit City FC. So
yep.
I think it's a fair scoreline as things currently stand, and we're in for a whopper of a second half of action here at the Fieldhouse.
I'm extremely excited to see how this one plays out. It could really go either way. You could see Cincinnati getting some momentum and getting a goal and building off it, but you could also see City continuing to thrive off of their, holding that lead and their defensive strength thus far. Really, really excited to see how this one.
Want to give a quick shout out to 2 people in the chat. They're actually, Dave, they're enjoying our commentary so much that I'm showing Dave Dwayne my phone. They've given us money.
What?
So Jackson Collis, shout out to Jackson Collis,
thanks,
99
Jackson.
cents. And then you want to read that one for
Kevin Killian, $1.99.
That's crazy.
Thanks, you guys.
And what's crazy, I know Jackson, CPA for the Chicago Cubs. Big deal.
Wow.
Yeah, that's kind of cool.
And he's sharing.
And Kevin Killian spent more money, and he doesn't have a job right now.
Wow,
so
man.
that's how much he loves us.
Well, I hope we can repay their kindness. I hope we're doing so currently in the form of this broadcast. But guys, that really means a lot. How do we? You should take it.
No,
you're doing the lion's share here. I'm along for the ride.
No,
I'm the beneficiary of your fantastic play-by-play and kindness, and I think you should keep it.
We're going to see. We saw that sort of, you kind of alluded to it, Dave, there early on. You kind of mentioned that there might have been a goalkeeper change for the visitors with the squad switching sides. Now we're able to confirm that. So now in goal for the visitors is going to be Delania Holman. So Holman now in goal. We kind of saw that change at some point in the first half. I think it was probably in that second quarter. Mm-hmm. And we mentioned, I don't think, Johnson did anything wrong in that first half. Maybe just a distribution thing, or maybe they just rotate goalkeepers for making the trip up here.
Yeah, I wonder if we'll see Johnson return in the fourth quarter. Like maybe they have her bookend the game and just, in terms of equity of playing time. We'll see.
Detroit City FC just itching to get this half underway right now on the pitch. I see that's going to be Hannah Crum down there, Shannon McCarthy, Megan Miles, and Claire Serlino. We mentioned this in the first half, that the timing of Detroit City FC's blue card there at the start of it, as we neared the end of the first half, means they're going to start this half down a player for about a minute or so. So Cincinnati, they would have known that all half, and they put together a game plan, probably specifically for this minute right here. We kind of see it formation-wise, a lot of pressure in the middle of the pitch before we get underway.
Yeah, they're going to come out guns blazing, try and get a goal early, set the tone for the half, and they have a great opportunity with this numerical advantage.
Detroit City FC being urged on by the crowd, a bunch of people up against the boards and a ton of people up in those stands. Another great showing here. We kind of talked about it. We heard in the PA at halftime, the PA announcer Ted Schumacher announcing that the next home game's the last one of the year, and that we were both saddened to hear about that.
I'm so saddened by that.
Gabby Shriver's going to come off her line. Does really well to slide there. Kind of had to because the angle that she was being met with by the Cincinnati attacker would have lent itself to a clear shot on goal there. But nonetheless, Shriver off of her line quickly. And Cincinnati establishing possession on the edge of Detroit City FC's area. Hannah Crum's going to be over to do defensive duty a little bit. Going to be poked away there nearly at the last second, but stays with the visitors. Cincinnati probing the Detroit City FC attack. Really compact at the moment while they wait for their player to come back on to be at full strength.
Saw that shot fake again from the Cincinnati player.
I didn't say it this time, though.
You've clearly adapted, but, man, she sells it well.
And a great job there by Hannah Crum to win that foul. And you see a little bit of, displeasure from the Cincinnati player there that was judged, that was Drummond on that occasion to be judged for that foul.
Yep, well said. I think they're just a little on edge, a little frustrated, but they're professional. They'll get over it, and they'll use it as motivation, no doubt.
Gabby Shriver having a conversation. They're kind of matching Gabby Shriver and the referee a little bit.
I like those shades of yellow. Lovely. I like the monochromatic look for Gabby Shriver.
Ooh.
Just yellow from top to bottom.
That one was close. It went up and kind of rode the net down into the Cincinnati bench, but a great heads-up play by everyone sitting over there to stay safe on that occasion.
Yeah, that's well done.
Megan Miles standing over this one. So far, personally, Megan Miles has been my woman of the match. She's been absolutely everywhere so far this evening.
Look at that move.
And does really well there, and Megan Miles is staying up and then taking the foul, but then, getting back up to her feet eventually. Good sportsmanship there from the visitors, but now Cincinnati find themselves in Detroit City FC's fourth. A great poke away at the last second there by Hannah Crum, but turned over. Detroit City FC has a little bit of work to do here, but back into the feet of Crum, who's going to look forward and play the ball, finding Kayla Addison.
Ball. She's off her line. Tough to see, though.
Difficult touch there from Addison. Kind of hard to corral that on that occasion. Does really well to beat it. Kayla Addison's in front of the goal. Plays it across the man to Britton.
Oh! Wasn't it?
Headed off of the line. The referee just kind of said that was a chest. But still Detroit City FC here. Kayla Addison in front of the goal yet again.
So exciting.
Cleared away and wow.
Wow.
What else can you say other than wow?
Awesome. This is so awesome. What a great level of soccer we're seeing here. I was going to mention moments ago that just the toughness shown from Megan Miles. Absolutely making it happen tonight. Oh. No foul there. And
Detroit City FC is going to collect that one. And there's a little bit of a situation going on here. It's going the way of Detroit City FC. I don't think Gabby Shriver was a fan of the extras that took place right there.
No, that seemed a little excessive from the Cincinnati player. She did it, and the ref was right there. But I think he's just saying, it wasn't so hard that he needed to call foul. Maybe just have a little chat with her.
And we'll see mentally how Detroit City FC kind of handled these minutes. We saw last week kind of the third quarter was sort of their kryptonite. They came out of the half just a little bit too flat, and they eventually paid for it. But so far, only 2 minutes in, positive signs for Detroit City FC out of the halftime break.
Definitely.
And we mentioned, the quality that the visitors have. It's not just that, but the experience as well. They've been in these situations before, in arena soccer, in big games. So for them, kind of give them the edge on that occasion just a little bit, but Detroit City FC responding well.
Yeah, I think Cincinnati is certainly not.
Great job by Nasser.
Great
job by Nasser. The shot comes in! Fatima Nasser makes it 3-0. Wow. Did well to create the space for herself before unleashing a rocket of a strike into the goal. And Fatima Nasser, a great cut inside before just unleashing it on her right.
That's so good.
Beating the goalkeeper.
That was so good. She's feeling it tonight. Taking a player on like that in that situation, having the confidence to strike it. She's playing at another level tonight.
So Fatima Nasser makes it 3-0 early on in this third quarter. And now, if we talked about Cincinnati needing to get up and get after it, now's the time they have to. And she goes up, she scores the goal, and look at this. She's back defending immediately. Gabby Shriver's going to come off of her line.
Well done,
great
Gabby.
Sliding effort to get that one out.
Yeah, City really firing on all cylinders at this point. You have moments of individual brilliance like we just saw from Fatima Nasser, and then followed by extraordinary team defense. They're covering for each other. Players like Fatima coming back to do the extra work defensively. Just been really neat to see the the way the City team are playing together.
Cincinnati into some space. A great save there by Gabby Shriver. And if you kind of want to mention Detroit City FC and the willingness and the work and the effort they've put in this evening, look no further than that situation right there. Fatima Nasser up scoring one of the better goals we've seen all season, and then immediately back in her own half defending.
Yep.
And that kind of takes a little bit of the sting out of things as things stand. Things can change so quick in arena soccer, but right now Detroit City FC is happy to be where they are.
Yeah, and we're just talking about Cincinnati, having the experience to approach this phase of the game with some calmness and some confidence, and yet you can't give up too many goals. Like now they're down 3. I think at some point the urgency is going to have to really emerge for them, and they're going to have to approach the game a little bit differently. But as you can see, they're a very seasoned squad. And
a great job there by Amanda Britton, getting stuck in against those boards, and getting stuck in she has to. It's a 2v1 physical battle. I think the referee saw that last little pull of the collar right there, and it's going to go the other way.
You love that effort, though, from a player like Amanda Britton, and that's her game. She's always going to put forth 100% plus, and on every tackle she's going in, she's never going to take a play off. You love having players like that on your team.
Detroit City FC
nice
looking
move.
forward again. Here, Amanda Britton finding Kayla Addison, is unable to corral it a little bit. And Shannon McCarthy's going to look to win this possession back. Amanda Britton tried to just lay it off there for Hannah Crum, but still in the feet of Detroit City FC, going all the way back to Shannon McCarthy, who has some backtracking to do, finds Gabby Shriver outside of her area. Gabby Shriver looks forward and blasts it. I think she kind of wanted Kayla Addison to pull there just a little bit, and that one's going to go up into the netting.
Yep.
And Cincinnati's lucky it did, or else Amanda Britton was right there ready to attack that one.
I think they're giving that top of the
moving the chains a little bit.
Move the chain. That'll move the chains. Hannah Crum's about to. I have a feeling we might see the wand of a left foot that Hannah Crum possesses here.
Ooh, and that one's going to come up into the air and into the hands for the first time this evening of Holman. Kind of the first time she's been able to be on the ball and slow things down a little bit. And if you're Cincinnati, we mentioned how quickly things can change in arena soccer, but they'll need something soon to kind of just lift the spirits a little bit.
Yeah, they know that first domino needs to fall if they're going to create a comeback here. And I think if you're City, you're just trying to prolong that as long as possible. So far, so good.
And their biggest focus is going to be, staying all 5 outfield players on the pitch as Shannon McCarthy kind of puts herself into trouble a little bit right there. Gabby Shriver kind of saw there could have been a flick on there at the near post, but if you're Cincinnati, you want all players to stay on the pitch, and you kind of need to start getting the possession to get more comfortable into this game as time ticks on.
That was a great driven ball forward from Gabby Shriver. Her distribution tonight has been exquisite.
And the turnover there is Detroit City FC have some defending to do, but it was Hannah Crum back on that occasion. And Hannah Crum's been a warrior all season.
So tough. And I think her knowledge of the indoor game seems to increase. You see this with a lot of the City players, because for a lot of them this is relatively uncharted territory. But her knowledge of the indoor game, some of the things she's doing, using the boards with a little bit more intention, it's really neat to see that progress, and she's becoming quite formidable in the midfield.
A good physical battle there won by Lemonali. So Detroit City FC retains possession. Shannon McCarthy looking forward and finding the feet of the most recent goal scorer, Fatima Nasser. And I think we'll see that goal time and time again. That was such a great finish there by Nasser. And has her side up 3-0 here with just under 9 minutes to play in this third quarter. Katie Coleman bursting forward. Joan Seeger kind of setting the pick. Katie Coleman comes in.
Good strike.
And it was mishandled a little bit. And a good job there again by Holman to knock that one up and get it back underway. We'll see a corner for Detroit City FC. I see the grin on your face, Dave, but we're back underway immediately. That one's going to come in. A really good shot there by Amanda Britton. She saw Holman off her line just a little bit, tried to take advantage. And Detroit City FC now in a defensive situation, but we see Drummond kind of get the best of Sterlingla there for a quick second before tripping over the ball and herself to almost give possession back to LaRouge. And a great job, great step there by Lemonali.
Look at that.
That's the passion, that's the work ethic, the dedication, and the drive that we've seen all season at the highest level this evening.
And I also love the fact that in that situation, Detroit City FC doubled the ball. They had a player holding, Lemma stepped in to make that first poke at it, and then I think it was Katie Coleman doubled in. It's almost impossible, no matter how good you are at indoor soccer. If 2 players are converging and you're against the boards, it's very, very difficult to make a play. Even if you end up keeping the ball, it's probably not going forward. And City taking advantage of that opportunity.
And just sort of a heavy touch there by Joan Seeger might put her team into a little bit of trouble. It's going to be Claire Serlino having to come back to defend. Gabby Shriver's off her line, but really great job there. Looking down, unable to
Mia Romeo.
I believe that's Mia Romeo, yeah.
I don't know which way this is going. I think it's City's ball. Looks like Gabby Shriver's going to
I think Gabby Shriver's just calming things down a little bit.
Well, actually, I think it's Cincinnati. I think they were saying Mia maybe, I don't know, but clearly Cincinnati are now setting up camp.
Yeah, whatever the call was, it was close enough to where I could see this being the outcome. So it's nothing egregious or anything like that. But 7:41 remaining here in this third quarter.
Interesting here. You see the Cincinnati team lining up, very scripted. They've got multiple players in a line. No doubt some picks are going to be set. Oh, good defending from Addie.
Just Kayla Addison, and then she immediately springs Mia Romeo forward. A great, clever bounce off the boards there by Mia Romeo. Nearly got the better of the Cincinnati players, but it's going to be back into the feet of the visitors. Played forward now. Detroit City FC just a little bit stretched in the middle right here. It's going to go out towards the boards. Claire Celino going over to Marshall play, and a great job poke away there by Mia Romeo. But Detroit City FC still a little bit of work to do. Mia Romeo unable to clear it on that occasion, and Gabby Shriver calmly collects that one. Just going to just blast it forward.
Yeah.
I almost said, I wonder if we're at the point in the game where maybe things like that get slowed down a little bit. But Detroit City FC all foot on the gas,
ball.
but Shannon McCarthy's going to have to backtrack here. The through on goal, and it's 3-1. Cincinnati claws a goal back, and, you sort of wonder that sort of happened. We mentioned the risk and the danger of playing those long balls, and if they don't work out, leading yourself to situations like that, and the visitors claw one back here.
Yeah, I think if you're City, you're frustrated there because they had actually, it was just sort of a stray pass through the midfield. There's a little bit of, I think City wanted to make a larger change than they did. And a couple players that were on the field, you could tell were a little bit, just a little tired, and it was tough to get back on that one when Cincinnati headed the other way. Nice finish from the Cincinnati player and good composure.
So Detroit City FC concedes a goal immediately into a timeout situation. Dave, what do you think Danny Evans is telling her side as things stand? Cincinnati maybe a little bit of momentum back on their side.
Yeah, I think the City was playing so well, and I think she's going to remind them, stay the course, you're doing great. But what they just learned from conceding there is that they still need to find those moments of composure. If they could have kept the ball a second there, then certainly Cincinnati's not going the other way on a breakaway. And I think she's just got to remind the players, and as players, you need a reminder sometimes, hey, you have a little more time than you realize. Connect the pass, take your time, get your head up. Miscues are going to happen, though, and it's also important, and I'm sure Danny, she's a fantastic coach. She understands the psychology of the game so well. She's also no doubt reminding them that, you're still playing so well, and you're in a great position. We'll take that one on the chin, move on, and put it behind you. Flush the memory of that.
And we're kind of at the point, all these players were on the field last week against Louisville with a third quarter kind of went against them, and it kind of led to them dropping that match. So I think that'll play into the message as well as, we did this last week. Let's lock in a little bit here and get back to what's been working so far this evening. Really good pressure there. Tatiana Mason nearly got a foot in there at the last second. But now we'll see if that changes the way Cincinnati's playing. We'll see if it's going to change the way that Detroit City FC sort of defends and attacks both ways down the pitch.
I like this look from foul there, giving up. Unlucky. I like this look, though, from City. That was a little bit of a high pressure, offense. As they were defending in a way that almost seemed like they had the ball in terms of the way they were pressuring that Cincinnati back line.
And that one's going to be blasted forward. Nearly won there by Amanda Britton, but Cincinnati still have time and space on the ball. That one's played forward out towards the board. It's going to be Joan Seidger that's going to apply the pressure, the first goal scorer of tonight's contest. Also pressed there by Tatiana Mason just a little bit. And we're seeing the movement out of Cincinnati. We're seeing the passing just get a little bit sharper than it was just a few minutes ago.
Yeah, they're trying to build off that goal, get some momentum going, and you see their quality here. They're just really, really good and really adept at moving the ball, finding the open player, probing the Detroit City back line.
That one's going to come in, and it was a crucial block right there at the last minute by Megan Miles, I believe that was, preventing it from getting all the way over to Shriver. Tatiana Mason's going to press the Cincinnati defenders.
Good pressure there.
Really good pressure there, and I think
unlucky.
That's her second foul in about a minute, so we're kind of at the point where maybe accumulation comes into play a little bit, so she's got to be a little bit more careful on that occasion. But I think both fouls weren't necessarily egregious, just going for the ball and losing out.
And I think there's good fouls and bad fouls. I think both of those were in an area of the field where you can afford to give one up. And both fouls happened as a result of her really making an effort to win the ball in what would have been a fantastic area for City. And sometimes it's worth that risk. The ref's obviously protecting the Cincinnati player there, but it was tricky to make that call. I think there was some gray area there, and sometimes the ref will let that go, and all of a sudden you're in.
little bit of communication there from Hannah Crum and Amanda Britton in the midfield, who was going to marshal over and put in the defensive foot there. But Cincinnati looking to get something, kind of hit Detroit City FC, 2 goals in quick succession, but currently 3-1 for Detroit City FC. That was going to come in, and for depth perception-wise, I thought that was going towards the goal.
I thought that was too. And it would have been a very well-worked goal because Cincinnati showing some real savvy there in the way they were moving that ball, some of the quick passing.
And now the Detroit City FC backline a little bit stretched, unsure whether to press or stay home with Shannon McCarthy on that occasion. But Detroit City FC kind of, you would like them to see them get on the ball and slow things down just a little bit. For the moment, it's Cincinnati kind of dictating play in all phases of the pitch.
Yeah, I got to give some praise there to Shannon McCarthy. She was in a very difficult situation there.
And
2-on-1.
We see a blue card for Detroit City FC. It's going to be Lemonale on that occasion. And you want to talk about things that Detroit City FC didn't need. In this occasion, it was that blue card right there.
Yeah, that's a tough break, and they're going to have to deal with some adversity here. But there's going to be moments like that in the game still that they got to step up.
And if you're Cincinnati, you're seeing a player go into the box, you're fired up about that, right? Because you just scored a goal, kind of, playing with house money at this point, and now you're up a player for the next 2 minutes.
Yeah, they're going to look to take advantage of this.
The Sharks are circling in the water. That one's going to come in. A great save by Shriver. Got down to it early to keep that one out of the net. We see Detroit City FC breaking forward through Katie Coleman. Katie Coleman tried to get out the pass there. I think she had Mia Romeo up on this end of the pitch, but still some defensive work to do for Coleman. Hannah Crum's going to be between Shriver and the goal. Hannah Crum's going to block that one off, just stumble a little bit trying to get back up to her feet.
I was going to say, this is that part in the game where you need your goalie to be big for you. Gabby Shriver, massive save there.
And that one's going to come in, and that one kind of just trickles past the goalkeeper, and it'll be 3-2. You kind of blink and you miss it, and all of a sudden Detroit City FC kind of letting in 2 goals now, and the visitors, we talk about their experience, we talk about, their acclaim in the game, and they're putting it to good use right here, getting 2 quick-fire goals to put DCFC on the back foot.
Yep. I think, whereas in the first half we saw a number of situations where Cincinnati were unlucky not to score, the ball didn't quite bounce their way. On that one, the ball bounces their way, and it's the result of some sustained pressure from them and being on the power play and making good use of it. But here we go. Game on.
And now we'll see what Detroit City FC is made out of on this occasion. We'll see a foul there called against the home team. And, of course, Detroit City FC back to full strength with that goal coming in. So 4 minutes left in this third quarter. Detroit City FC looking to avoid sort of a horror show, going 3-0 up. And now the score sits at 3-2 with 18 minutes left to play in this match.
Yep. But I think, if you're City, you also got to remind yourself, there's going to be swings. The indoor game, goals can happen so quickly. A 3-goal lead is certainly not safe, and City learning that the hard way right now, but they could just as easily extend it, and there's no reason to panic here.
And Detroit City FC, they came out of the half, less flat than they did last week, but I feel like that first goal from Cincinnati kind of galvanized them as a squad a little bit.
Yep.
And that, along with the blue card to get things going, we'll see a perfect line change here for Detroit City FC. Is Amanda Britton, I believe, is putting some pressure on. Gabby Shriver saw that, and that one's going to come out.
Unlucky.
Yeah,
she's going to feel hard done.
That's going to get the crowd fired up. I think what I will say is I think the referee saw the extended arm.
Yeah, he's in a perfect position there.
Yeah, I think it was an extended arm more so than anything. And, Cincinnati player, if she feels that there's going to be contact, totally within her right to go down and draw that foul. But I think the extended arm is what kind of did that one on that occasion for Amanda Britton.
Yeah, ref was in a great spot to see that. But I think if you're Amanda, you're
a great layoff and just sort of a scuffed shot coming in there from the visitors, but still have possession of the ball. Detroit City FC crowd kind of urging them on a little bit, and that shot was kind of flashed across goal. Shriver did well to get to it, but that, sort of a clearance there from Shriver went right into the visitors, and Hannah Crum now has some space to run forward, has Joan Seeger up with her. Crum playing it all the way across. A great ball to spot the run of Shannon McCarthy. McCarthy's going to play in Joan Seeger.
Nice idea.
Yeah, you saw Seeger just kind of throw the foot at it, but still with Detroit City FC. It's Lemonale's going to have a right-footed effort. And that one back into but a great job by Nolly to get it. And just along the boards on that occasion. And now Cincinnati looking to break forward and kind of get Detroit City FC on the counterattack here. Not really they're having trouble getting the door open right there on that occasion. Need some WD-40 over there.
Great WD-40 reference.
Oh, I mean.
Hey, do we have a theme? First game of the season, Home Depot.
I mean, maybe I'm just a fan of hardware.
Are we a hardware? Is this something we need to circle back to?
I mean, WD-40, I think, is definitely.
I love WD-40.
I mean, how could you not?
It's an amazing product. Yeah. It's an amazing. It can do.
It fixes everything.
It
really does.
It does.
God. is the blue can. It's such an iconic can, too. It's like the blue can, yellow text,
Yeah.
WD-40. I mean, it's like everyone knows what it is.
It's like a red can in Campbell's soup.
Oh.
It's whatever advertising they've done, it's worked.
Andy Warhol designed the Campbell soup can. I don't know if that's
And
talked
possibly the WD-40 can.
Oh, I don't think Andy Warhol is probably a genius, but I don't know if he's WD-40 genius.
Am I?
Don't be crazy.
Am I changing the history here of?
And, we have all this fun and stuff, but the visitors are now through on goal on this situation. Detroit City FC did really well to get numbers back. They were kind of at a numerical disadvantage for a split second there. Just 1:23 left in this third quarter, sort of a nightmare boogie third quarter for Detroit City FC, and the referee's going to see that one and call it.
Fatima Nasser drawing probably her 10th foul of the game. She's just really getting herself into some good spots. Yep.
Now Detroit City FC, a conversation with the referee explaining the call there on that occasion. I don't think there was like a satisfying answer there. I don't think Kiana Klein was too satisfied with the answer she was getting from the referee on that occasion, but back underway, and Shriver's going to blast that one forward. What I will say about Cincinnati, that ball by Shriver was working a ton in the first half. I think they've made enough adjustments to sort of nullify the danger of that just a little bit.
Ooh, good look from Tatiana Mason. Good run from Katie Coleman.
Similar to the way that we saw Louisville last week adjust to being able to defend Kayla Addison with her back to goal.
Yep. Yeah, these teams at this level are going to make adjustments, and a team like City is going to have to continue to find ways to test Cincinnati and find ways to challenge them.
49.9, let's call it 50 seconds left in this third quarter.
It's a good time to round up.
And Detroit City FC, you kind of use intermissions as a coaching, as sort of a timeout, and there's no doubt Danny Evans is going to be doing that, hopefully doing it with a lead, as Cincinnati looked to get something here.
What a
save by Shriver.
What a save.
And it really needed to be, because that was a powerful effort, perfectly placed, but Shriver was quick to the task, and that one's going to be brought all the way back to the end of Detroit City FC's fourth of the pitch, eventually got onto by Tatiana Mason, and Shriver's going to let that one roll over the line, taking some time off the clock here before corralling it.
Oh,
and that's like,
I think that's a blue
I
card,
don't think
Mackie.
you can do that.
You can't do that. That's just unnecessary. Yeah,
I don't
done by
think you
Gabby
can do that. Yeah.
Super smart by Gabby Shriver. Not that she intended that to happen, but to milk a little bit off the clock. She knows she's got 5 seconds once she establishes possession. And the Cincinnati player.
I don't think you can do that.
You can't.
I really don't think you can do that.
Not allowed to do that.
Crazy.
That needs to be punished.
And so now the visitors. Oh, she's having trouble with the door.
Either.
So Louisville's going to be down a player. That was Casey Smickrud going into the box on that occasion. Just sort of kind of threw the arm at Shriver, who was well within her right to do what she was doing, just kind of letting the clock tick down. You got to press if you want that to not happen. And she pressed and then pressed her arm against Shriver's shoulder, and Shriver went to ground. Detroit City FC now able to operate from a position of power for sort of the first time in about 10 or so minutes. That one's going to get up and
what a save. Great save.
And that was a fantastic save by Holman, and it really had to be a miscommunication at the back. And Detroit City FC is going to go into this fourth quarter feeling good despite giving up 2 goals there in the third.
For sure. I think for them, it's in some ways it's a victory to not have allowed Cincinnati to draw the game level. And they've got a player up for the better part of the first 2 minutes of the fourth quarter coming up.
Don't go anywhere. We will be right back from the Detroit City Fieldhouse. Detroit City FC looking to hang on to a 3-2 lead with 15 minutes to play. This is fine, Alex. We are back at the Detroit City Fieldhouse for the fourth quarter of action. Dave Dwayhe, it doesn't get set up any better than this for an entertaining broadcast and entertaining show in-house.
The table is set for an amazing fourth quarter. I'm so excited to see how this one will play out. Great partial comeback from Cincinnati in the third quarter, but also fantastic resilience from Detroit City FC to kind of stop the bleeding, kill the momentum. They earn themselves a player up for the next minute and 45
minute and change. Yeah.
Well said. And I think that's a huge momentum swing in their favor after things were looking a little bit grim for them.
You had a shout out to give.
I wanted to give a shout out, if we could, real quick, to watching from the West Coast, VP of Player Wellness and all other things club related, Tiffany Ebert.
It's an honor to have a club legend tuning in like that.
Yeah, and we're so excited that we have the opportunity to speak about her briefly. Wears many hats for the club, huge supporter of our women's team. Out on the West Coast with our men's team right now as they do their preseason tour, but taking the time to cheer on the women from afar, and we're so glad she's tuning in. Tiffany, if you're still listening, hello.
If she's still tuned in,
oh, yeah,
and I don't know why you wouldn't be.
How could you not?
And the visitors now looking to get something going after we saw a really good physical battle in the midfield. I like that the referees kind of allowed that to play itself out rather than getting a whistle in there. I think it was so 50-50 that you couldn't really call it one way and have it be fair.
Mm-hmm.
It's
Ooh,
sort of a miscommunication right there, but that
you
was
can't run in like that.
That was good. And we kind of see Cincinnati sort of just there's been a little, it's tough because what do I call that? But it's been been intense.
Moments
chippy,
where
moments of being chippy and stuff like that. And the perfect example of that was what we saw on Gabby Shriver on the other end of the pitch just before the fourth quarter started. So you kind of wonder if that's sort of frustration with the way the game's going. But I kind of expected at 3-0, but at 3-2, you're kind of back in the game, and it just feels silly to go a player down for no reason.
Yeah, I think, the Cincinnati player that had that little moment of that lapse in judgment, I'm sure she's learned her lesson, and we won't see any more of that, but a little bit of testiness.
And
which way is this one going?
I see the referee reaching for his pocket.
Oh, he stopped.
I don't
doing
like
that.
this left referee right here. Yeah, that's going to give the blue card.
Oh, that seems harsh.
Yeah, it seemed a little bit harsh.
I think you said she speared her somehow, like the symbol.
You see her, she's saying it's my head.
Yeah.
So I think that's kind of just referee explaining it to Danny Evans. She's kind of like, well, what do you want her to do? I feel like that's the argument from her.
Yeah.
But so for the second time this game, it's 4v4, and Detroit City FC, from a position of power to now, there'll be about a minute and a half delta where they will be a player down, and that's the last thing. Fatima Nasser, a great job. Fatima Nasser bursting forward, tried to get it across to Tatiana Mason, just unable to get the shot off. But Tatiana Mason applying the pressure, trying to win the ball back for her side. Really good job to sustain that pressure, only down to 4 players as well.
I'm still completely impressed that you used the term delta there.
I mean,
that was awesome.
So I'll tell you. So in Gran Turismo, the famous racing game, that's how they say what your fastest lap is. Delta. So the only reason I don't know that from SAT prep or from just being a smart guy, it's just from a video game.
But you applied it to an unfamiliar situation. I still give you a lot of credit.
I appreciate that.
Also noticed during that break that the Cincinnati goalkeeper has once again changed. So maybe it is a first and fourth quarter kind of rotation thing.
I guess if you're making the drive all the way up from Cincinnati, you kind of want to give everyone a shot. And we talk about it all the time, how difficult the goalkeeper spot is, because there's only one on the pitch ever.
Yep.
And it's rare, especially in outdoor, like how often you change. So.
Right. Yeah, it's something that gets treated differently.
That one's going to come in. A good job by Shriver there. It really needed to be.
Yep. Speaking of goalkeeping, what a save.
And coming all the way back to the top of Detroit City FC's area. That one's going to come into a congested
Miles.
area, and Tatiana Mason's going to play it forward into the area of Fatima Nasser. Never a bad option there with the way she's been playing this evening.
Yeah, they're going to want to get her the ball.
But Cincinnati's settling into this fourth quarter just a little bit. And you see they're kind of blocking off Shriver a little bit and kind of looking to create a situation where she's unable to get down to a ball or make a save. And we're seeing Megan Miles having to deal with that right now. And now Shannon McCarthy's going to switch her way over. Well Shriver kept the eyes on that one, did really well to stay in that.
Yep. Now I wonder, can the Cincinnati player do what she's doing right now? Gabby's got to get rid of the ball in 5 seconds. I don't think that's allowed. Well, the ref was kind of.
I think we'll hear. I think you might get an email or a text from the referee based on what you said earlier in the game that you heard something. So maybe we got to have a referee on one of these broadcasts.
We should, like a guest, like they do in other sports sometimes, where they'll have like a
rules analyst.
Yeah.
The guy, they'll be like, we'll see what New York thinks about it, and they'll call. Yeah. I think that's the best gig in pro sports is being the rules analyst.
Yeah.
You just hang out and watch the sport, and then they come back. It's like, he caught the ball with 2 feet in. Like, what else do you want me to say?
Yeah.
So, that's my take, honestly.
I agree.
It's Laminali. Detroit City FC looking a little bit more comfortable than they did at this phase in the third quarter. I say that. Shannon McCarthy gives the ball away, but still Detroit City FC. Really good job there by Katie Coleman, and Joan Siege is going to be in a fun situation here, going to go up against the boards.
Ooh.
Thought referee might have called something there, but he just goes over to say that he didn't. Claire Serlino's going to.
Might get a whistle there.
Yeah. Yeah, and the crowd's not going to like that, and I see why. I just think the player did a really good job of selling the contact. There was contact, and the player went down, and all credit to her.
Yeah, I think there are situations as a referee where almost the player reaction almost forces you to call it. There was clearly some contact, and then the way she went down, you really can't not call that. And
Serlino, though, right back into it, and then not letting the head drop at all. And
it happened again there. It happened again there. I think that was sort of inadvertent contact from Katie Coleman, but the Cincinnati player was ready to kind of go down.
And on all of these, there's been contact.
Yeah, no doubt. There's so much contact in this game. I think a lot of it gets called or not called just based on the reaction. Yeah,
and hardly, ever in arena soccer is there not contact, but in outdoor you kind of see some liberties taken by players that want to draw fouls, but it's so seldom and rare you see that in arena soccer.
Yeah, and just with the tighter space, it's just there's naturally going to be more collisions, more moments of one-on-one challenge defensively, and fouls are going to happen.
Laminale there, really good job.
Nice defending.
Pressure, but just dribble past a little bit. It's going to be
great
Serlino
block
that had to be called into action as Joan Siege just kind of hesitated. She realized she had the space, and it's going to be Laminale running forward. A great ball across if she can find Katie Coleman. Just took a little bit of a bounce. The angle wasn't really on her side on that occasion, but still Detroit City FC able to push Cincinnati back into their final fourth of the pitch.
Love this pressure. Love the sustained pressure from Katie Coleman. Not backing off from the number 20 on Cincinnati, who's a tremendous one-on-one dribbler, but just making it hard for her, not letting her get it out easily, and those little efforts go a long way. They add up.
But a great ball out of the back here from the visitors. It's going to be all the way forward to the near-sided boards. It's going to be Shannon McCarthy and Hannah Crum having to make their way over to defend. And if she looks up, she has Mia Romeo. Ooh. Mia Romeo just a little bit maybe too much on it. The keeper able to come out. Johnston back into the match, able to come out and kind of not allow Mia Romeo to get goal side.
I love that hustle from Amanda Britton. Just getting. Oh, look at this! Look at this!
Oh wow!
She's one-on-one.
Kayla
She's going to be
Addison
one-on-one.
is through on goal. Kayla Addison back to goal. Kayla Addison takes it down and scores. It is 4-2 Detroit City FC. Kayla Addison, a perfect line change. We talked to Danny Evans last week. She says we got to be sharper on the line changes, be more smart about that. Instant impact for Kayla Addison to make it 4-2 Detroit City FC.
So well done. And I don't remember if it was Hannah Crum or Amanda Britton who had the presence of mind to look up there and play that sure pass for the clear one-on-one situation for Addie, who was wisely waiting for it. But man, that was a massive goal coming at a great time for City. They're absorbing a lot of pressure at that point, and now they've extended their lead in a way that, hopefully they can.
And I do want to apologize to those listening on a big TV or with headphones in for the scream that David Dwayhe just belted out on that goal. Yeah.
Hopefully
no speakers got blown out, and if they did, just send the invoice to Dave Dwayhe.
That's my bad. I am clearly we're getting paid for this broadcast, some of the online contributions, so true, maybe we can just filter that in. But I do apologize. I was genuinely excited and happy for Kayla Addison.
I could tell. And then, right after that sort of goes from bad to worse for the visitors as they're down a player now, as we saw a blue card come out.
I didn't even notice that.
Yeah, I was keeping my eyes on the field. And Shannon McCarthy is going to play this one forward to Mia Romeo. Mia Romeo getting involved in the action, playing it across, and nearly a flash across a goal there. That was Kayla Addison doing well to get over to it, but unable to make the connection on that situation. Tatiana Mason throws it up into the air. That one's going to fall, and back in front of the Cincinnati net, blasted away and into the feet of Mia Romeo with just 8.5 minutes remaining here in the fourth quarter. Detroit City FC in a lot better situation than they were just a minute and a half ago.
Yeah, that was a huge goal for them. It takes a little – I don't know that the pressure's off because they understand how quickly things can change, but I think it definitely –
Oh! Romeo, Kayla Addison nearly.
What a save. I think she saved that with her face.
Anyway, right? Anyway.
Yeah. As an indoor goalie, you hope it hits you, because you're just trying to make the goal small.
And Shannon McCarthy a little bit frustrated by that giveaway there, but luckily for her, the pass was just a little bit too wide, so it allowed Detroit City FC to get the numbers back and settle just a little bit. The visitors still down a player with just less than 8 minutes remaining here in this match. Detroit City FC holding a 4-2 lead over the visiting Cincinnati Sirens. Tatiana Mason applying the pressure. She's been everywhere this evening. Going to come all the way to Amanda Britton, who's going to look
Nice.
forward and play a great ball. Tried to find
Good
the
look.
run of Tatiana Mason, but nonetheless, more time comes off the clock, and Detroit City FC able to get a quick line change in.
You see Shannon McCarthy in there jumping into the midfield, mixing it up, winning that ball. Gosh, she's putting in a shift right now.
Tatiana Mason doing well to try to keep things in that end of the field, but unable to do so. Joan Siege is going to apply the pressure to the Cincinnati defender, and a great job by Hannah Crum right into the action, right onto the ball.
Hannah Crum has quietly played a fantastic game tonight. We haven't said her name as much as we did last week, but I think it's because she's added some defensive responsibility to her game tonight. But the way she's tracking back, playing smart passes forward, she's been kind of an unsung hero in this 4-2 lead.
Oh, no one heard that.
I didn't say it.
No one heard that.
Fatima
Fatima Nasser is going to play that one inside. Hannah Crum and saved by Johnson. Sort of a mix-up of bodies right there. The referee is going to run over to it. I don't think there's going to be a foul. I think it was just sort of, balls on the ground. Let's go for it.
Yep.
So Detroit City FC up 4-2 with just under 7 minutes remaining. The officials are going to have a conversation with Johnston. Not really too sure what that's about. I see Danny Evans on the field. I believe there might have been a timeout. There was a timeout that no one really knew about.
Yep.
I was going to say, Danny Evans, I know she's probably a great arena soccer player, but she's not in the kit this evening.
I think we will see Danny, maybe not on our broadcasts, but maybe at some away games. I'm hoping we will see Danny Evans take the field. She's a fantastic player, period, end of sentence. But in the indoor game, I think her skill set really shines. She's so good on the ball, really clever. Tons of experience as a player, and I think City might need her on the road, might utilize her skills on the road. And speaking of Danny Evans, just an opportunity here to talk about what a fantastic job she's done with this team. Each week we see them taking a step forward, learning the indoor game, developing amazing team chemistry. I mean, the way they're banding together tonight is really something to behold, and that comes from your leadership. And Danny Evans, just an amazing coach and a wonderful person, and I think the players really gravitate to her and trust her, and they got a good thing going here.
Yeah, the squad definitely seems together. Not that it hasn't at any point in the season, but for a big game like this, they will know what we know about Cincinnati's past in the arena indoor game, and they'll know that you got to play up for it, right?
Yeah.
And we've seen a perfect example of that. Every phase of play from Detroit City FC tonight, maybe at times it's not been the sharpest or 100%, but the effort and the passion has been there. And I think that comes from, Dave, those first two games where Detroit City FC was able to dictate play the entire time. They fought at 10-2, 11-2, at 9-1. They were fighting in every single second of those games. That only prepared them for tonight. For
sure. I think that you want to form habits even when you're winning games by a large margin. You don't want to form bad habits, and you want to take the opportunity to kind of solidify good habits. And like you said, they finished those games the way they started them, and they need to do that right now. So that work pays off.
A really good job there by Megan Miles to be in the mix physically on that occasion. Hannah Crum tried to get a foot in there, but Fatima Nasser, every single situation that's been good for Detroit City FC has involved Fatima Nasser at some point this evening.
She's been special tonight.
And the effort, the energy from this whole squad, we say it time and time again, but they're not tiring.
No.
They're not dropping off, and they're certainly not giving up on any 50-50 situation. As Detroit City FC referee nearly got in the way on that occasion, but Kayla Addison tried to scoop it across to Claire Serlino, but played out from the back for Fatima Nasser, unable to get a touch on at that time. Megan Miles is going to do a great job passing it to herself.
Go on, Megan.
Megan Miles retaining possession as Kayla Addison up with her across and nearly into the back of the net, but Shannon McCarthy still has a chance here. Shannon McCarthy played across, and once again McCarthy on the ball. Lump against the boards. Referee has a great view of things. Shannon McCarthy tried to just toe poke it past. Referee, a great job to stay on his feet right there.
That's really well done by the ref.
A referee, that was close. A referee stumble would have been probably appealing. I wouldn't have laughed, but the crowd here might have chuckled a little bit.
Sure. But I thought he kept his feet very well.
And did a great job.
Kept himself in a good position to see any fouls.
Fatima Nasser playing it. It's hard not to, get entrenched in the music here at the Detroit City Fieldhouse. Fatima Nasser kind of in a physical, more of a foot race, if you will. Going to go off of the boards and all the way back to the top of the area for Detroit City FC for the visitors. A right-footed strike's going to come in, and Shriver does really well to get to it, but will need to be called into action again for Fatima Nasser and Tatiana Mason. Heads-up play there. Really good job to stay into it, but the shooting position was opened up right there, but poked away by Megan Miles. That shot's going to come in, and Shannon McCarthy able to be tall on that occasion, and that one's going to go to ground, but the referee says all clean, all ball.
Yeah, I want to.
Shannon McCarthy, Megan Miles, or excuse me, that's Tatiana Mason. Megan Miles was shifting over, though, to be part of the defensive action. That one's going to come across. Ooh. And we see Shriver kind of took a swing at it. And in front of the goal, Shriver's going to get to it.
Well done.
Does so
well
to dive
Shriver.
on that ball.
Took the worst of that one.
Yeah, she took the worst of it.
And
that's good sportsmanship, making sure she's all right.
Like to see that. That's a lot of class from the Cincinnati attacker. Making sure she's okay.
Yeah, I think the referee is just going to slow things down. The Cincinnati player clearly feels bad about that one. I don't think there's any, no malice in that. Yeah, that's the exact word I was looking for, Dave.
I got you, buddy.
That's the exact word I was looking for. So now Detroit City FC up 4-2. Just look at the game state a little bit. Up 4-2. 4.5 minutes remaining, Dave.
If you told
this is what you want.
This is exactly. If you're City, this is ideal. I mean, obviously, a larger lead would be better, but I think they've put themselves in a great position here. We were saying earlier, this is a game that's had an asterisk on the calendar all season long. If you had told them before the game they'd be up 2 goals with under 5 minutes left, they'd absolutely be thrilled. And they've got to play with that kind of gratitude to have put themselves in this position. They're going to want to see it through. They're going to really want to put the extra effort in this last 5. And thus far, we've really seen it. I mean, there are times where you're watching them defend, and it's just like it's almost like they're desperate in a good way with the way they're defending and fighting for every ball and contesting every ball.
We're going to get a little bit of a look here at some shots that came in on this situation. So it kind of led to this situation. Sort of just a really good job by Cincinnati to be staying in the game right there. A great call by the referee there to say that one was clean on all occasions. This is a replay, folks, for those watching at home.
Yep.
This was going to come up against the boards, and it was going to be always a tough situation, to defend this moment for Detroit City FC, especially. And then that one came in. Shriver was quick to get to ground to it before it was played up. And then, just kind of bounced in the box, and Shriver did a great job to get down to it. That's where the collision came in.
Yeah.
And you could tell she felt bad about it.
And no, she's just going for the ball. Honest mistake.
But that's the intensity you have to play with when you're 2 goals down with just 4.5 minutes remaining.
Yep. Ooh, and we've got our first instance of what they call in the futsal world a fly keeper. Cincinnati putting their number 20, one of their more promising attacking players, in the goalkeeper position. They're going to try and bring her up as like a 6th attacker, keep possession, and you can see it right there. She's so comfortable on the ball. So
that's crazy. We see for the first time, folks, an empty net, they would call it in hockey, for the visitors. An extra attacker comes into the fold, and if you're Detroit City FC, you got to get the ball. And if you're the visitors, that's the last thing you want right there. We see it in hockey. They just pass it around until a shot opens up. It opened up right there. And what we've seen from Gabby Shriver this season, I wouldn't be surprised if she goes for a shot herself.
She very well could, and there would be nothing wrong with it if it found the back of the net.
And so, you sort of mentioned that, not desperation, but what has to happen to overcome a 2-goal lead with just 4 minutes remaining. This is certainly an example of that right here, as Cincinnati playing now without a keeper for the final 4 minutes of this match.
Yep.
And then we see it right there. Gabby Shriver blasts it forward. That one's going to take a couple of bounces, and why not?
Mm-hmm. No, I think that's the idea. You want to keep them honest. Cincinnati throwing caution to the wind here. They need a goal. They're pushing for it. They're going to try and unsettle Detroit City FC with this extra attacking player. And if you're City, you have an opportunity every time you win the ball.
And this is something that, we kind of mentioned Detroit City FC. A lot of their players new to the arena game, you kind of wonder, have they seen this situation before, and are they prepared to handle the situation? But really, it's no different than being a player down.
Right. Great save.
Shriver's going to do really well to get over to that one. And while the clock is ticking, I see the referee doing the hand thing.
You know what you're seeing a lot tonight from City? Megan Miles has really led the way in this regard. The City defensive line, and Gabby Shriver just did it there as a keeper, they're really kind of pressing into the ball, that penetrating pass that Cincinnati's looking to play. City have been on the back of that defender, pressuring it every single time.
Great job there by Hannah Crum. Tried to get something going there. It's going to be Shriver that does well to get a hand on it. When Kayla Addison looks up and sees the keeper, it's hard to call her a keeper, way off of her line at this point. Now, for the first time since coming out of the field a minute and a half ago, she has possession of the ball. Kayla Addison applying the pressure. That one's going to be played into some space. It's going to come all the way out.
Well done.
And a great touch at the last second by Tatiana Mason to clear the danger on that occasion. Just 140 seconds remaining this evening at the Detroit City Fieldhouse.
Yep, there it is. There you see it from Hannah Crum, just that stepping into the ball.
Hannah Crum tried twice there to clear that one, unable to do so. That one's going to come in a really good block. A goal line clearance there from Tatiana Mason. I believe that was Lamanali as well involved in that clearance situation. So Claire Serlino now out to press the ball, as well as Kayla Addison as the Cincinnati 6th attacker. trying to get involved here. Under 2 minutes to play. And Tatiana Mason's going to have to do some defensive work here. A great job by Claire Serlino, going to play it up against the boards, but still into the feet of the visitors. Kayla Addison kind of just takes a touch at it. I think just kind of scuffed her shot just a little bit. And that one's going to come all the way back to the fly goalkeeper, as you were calling it.
And I think it's noteworthy here in terms of the logistics. Detroit City in a position, you just saw Kayla Addison make that substitution.
Mia Romeo is going to look up and going to lay it off for Claire Serlino. We've seen the speed she's possessed. Claire Serlino plays it forward, going to come off of the boards, and Mia Romeo has some work to do.
It's very tricky for Detroit City to make substitutions. They're clearly on tired legs. They're defending, and yet when the Cincinnati team has it in their half, it's very difficult. You never want to make a substitution. They get let off the hook here.
And that shot's going to come. And you mentioned that, and not only get off the hook, but this is going to kill a little bit of time to allow these subs to be made. We're going to have somebody.
How
I think
this ball
we're going to have somebody.
Up?
Yeah. Oh.
Hey, just first timer. That's well done. That's well done.
That's awesome. I hope the broadcast saw that. I think we owe that guy legally a Strohs or something. I don't know if we'll follow up on that, but we should.
Yeah, we should.
I mean, maybe the $3 we got from our generous.
That'll cover a Strohs, right?
Well, it's got to cover that and the speakers getting blown out by you yelling. So,
yeah. Good point. We got a lot of expenses. I think you're seeing it now. The City finally able to kind of like catch their breath. But there was a really interesting phase of the game there, and Kayla Addison was finally able to sneak away. But the City back five. And they really were a back five at that point, kind of unable to get off the field, unable to bring fresh legs on because Cincinnati was just continuing to maintain pressure.
And now Cincinnati setting up, just 57 seconds left to play. We'll see a timeout.
Yep. This is
a
pro
lot of
soccer.
time to talk it over. This is awesome.
This is awesome. This is professional indoor soccer at its finest. You've got strategy coming in that you don't get to see normally with the sixth attacker, with the taking of a timeout on a set piece. I mean, believe it or not, 56.6 seconds is plenty of time as far as Cincinnati are concerned. One goal changes this thing, and they're in a pretty good spot right now. They are planning on working their way back into this game, and City have got to be locked in and on the lookout for any little scripted set piece here that could hurt them. And
just want to give a huge shout out to every single person tuning into tonight's broadcast. A special shout out to Jackson Collis and Kevin Killian for their generous donations. Hopefully someday we'll see a little bit of that.
Yeah.
And, don't spend it all in one place, really.
Yeah, no doubt. And to echo Mackie's sentiments, it's an honor to be kind of talking through this game with an active listening audience. We are very grateful for everyone tuning in.
Oh, the most grateful. If they
grateful.
were all, I don't even know. I don't even know.
Yeah. This has become a highlight of my week. And it means nothing without an audience. I'm glad.
I really forgot to text you midweek and be like, "Hey, we're doing it on Saturday." So when I texted you the lineup this morning, I was hoping that you were just like, "Oh, okay, we're good."
Right.
So luckily,
Count me in. Look at this. We've got the goalkeeper in the most advanced offensive position. You don't see that in many sports.
Strike comes in. Is going to go up against the boards, headed away kind of by Shannon McCarthy for a split second. Did really well to extend herself there and kind of clear the danger for the time being. But Detroit City FC still some defensive work to do as Cincinnati looks to get a third goal. Fatima Nasser, a great touch away there by Nasser, and the tenacity to stay in this fight and battle through it. Fatima Nasser, by far the woman of the match this evening. The shot's going to come in from the sixth attacker, and it's going to come in once again.
Wow,
and
great
the
defending. Great defending from
away.
Amanda Britton, getting a piece of that thing, flicking it over the bar.
And just 30 seconds left. We'll see a corner for Detroit City FC. This kind of last 2-minute grandstand for them has been absolutely exceptional.
Yep, this is so exciting. Cincinnati applying so much pressure. You really got to put tip your hat to them.
And that one comes off the board, eventually cleared away by Fatima Nasser, and that's going to take valuable seconds off of the clock. Mia Romeo getting over to it, and Nasser looks up. She has the space. Fatima Nasser goes for it,
Go on, Mia.
but has Mia Romeo running up with her. Mia Romeo takes the touch. It's going to be bodied off of the ball, and Romeo's going to stay down.
I think she's okay.
I think I hope this is sort of a little gamesmanship situation, but nonetheless, there was contact, shoulder to shoulder.
Yep. She's good. She's up.
And that clearance was exceptional.
That's potentially a game-changing moment because, Cincinnati were really putting the screws to City. Now
and a yellow card. Was that a yellow card?
Yeah, that's a yellow, which is different from a blue.
And she's not a fan of that.
She's upset. She's frustrated.
And the mentality from Cincinnati has felt a little bit off all night. It feels like it's been too aggressive when it didn't really need to be, and a little bit too chippy at times when you felt like that wasn't really, what was needed or what kind of you would expect. So, just maybe that's the frustration, right? Maybe
Yeah.
Some traffic on 75 North, not going to rule that out. But 6-hour car ride and you're up here 4-2 down with 12 seconds left. A frustrating situation to be in for the visitors, no doubt.
For sure. I think they see at this point the game's probably out of reach, and they're a competitive team. They're not used to losing. They're a fantastic side. They play incredible soccer, and it doesn't often go this way for them. So it's probably a foreign feeling, and any competitive athlete is going to lose their cool at times.
And we mentioned, you coming into this environment and it's sort of a cup final, you want to play your best, and it just the intensity is compounded by the fact that the crowd gets on you, gets intense, and
it's a tough environment.
It's a unique environment to play in, especially in the PASL, as we kind of see the referee still having the conversations, things still ongoing here.
And City in just an amazing spot right now. They got 12 seconds to kill this thing off. They've got the ball. They've got an extra player. Cincinnati had to kind of call off the sixth attacker situation. Really, at this point, you try and hold the ball for these last 12 seconds or put it in a part on the field that it's going to make it tough for Cincinnati to get a chance, and they'll have done it.
And this sort of feels like a formality. I don't want to get ahead of myself, but Detroit City FC, able to just control possession here. That shot's going to come in. Shriver's a little bit off of her line. Time is still ticking for the visitors. A great tackle right there from Amanda Britton. And that'll do it. Detroit City FC defeats the Giants.
Big time.
Cincinnati Sirens FC by a 4-2 scoreline here at the Detroit City Fieldhouse. Dave Dwahey, if you're Danny Evans, you're fired up about that one.
Oh, she's got to be feeling great. It's been, it's been a long week, no doubt, for this team. You're coming off a tough loss against Louisville. You got an even stronger opponent ahead of you, and to play the way they played, to perform the way they performed, and to get the result against the top team in the country. It's got to be just, they're buzzing right now.
And you talk about the infancy of this Detroit City FC women's arena, programming in general, and what a great way to build on that. Then what a great performance this evening against, like you said, one of the best teams in the whole country.
Yep, that's a statement result right there. The league is going to take notice. City are the real deal right away. To put up a result like that against a team like Cincinnati. Very, very impressive, and it wasn't a lucky result. City earned that. They played so well throughout the game. They really played to their strengths and rose to the occasion, and I think they're understandably excited, but it's going to certainly give them a lot of confidence in future games.
And to overcome what was a difficult third quarter for them, and to overcome the match last week, to come into this one guns blazing and have the chance to do something special, they did something special.
They did.
Thank you guys so much for everyone that tuned in to tonight's broadcast. I've been Jarrett Mackey alongside David Dwahey. Detroit City FC comes up big with the 4-2 win over Cincinnati Sirens.
Good night, everybody.